And then I watched this game last year, and I thought that the inefficiencies of the Bucs running backs were really on display. And I think this is the week Gio Bernard snaps kind of elevated. And he's at 4,200, and I think his ceiling projection is probably like 19 points. I think the snaps, like if you're playing the Big Millie, 250K, the snaps are going up. Like they have to go up at some point. They're going to go up. These running backs are so bad. I watched this game last year. That it was when you realize that Fournette and Ronald Jones can't catch the ball in the backfield. They're missing that scat back that Brady's had pretty much his whole career.
True story. I literally used to go all day not eating as a kid, and then I'd eat one big meal at night. I don't know why you guys are laughing at that. I mean
everyone believes you, though. No one's disagreeing with you. Everyone believes that.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how you're like, oh, I don't know how you can do this. Like, I do it every day. I've done it every day for 30 years, and I'll continue to do it. But what's up, everybody? We got the NFL Print Factory show for you coming in on a Wednesday. I mean, these guys making me do a show at 10 p.m. on a Wednesday. I only do it because ODB's the man, and he, of course, has the World Series of Poker. ODB, talk about it a little bit because it's starting up, right?
Yeah, World Series of Poker every year is June, July. But this year, what do you got going on in the background there, JSU?
There is. He's got his
like
lady bent over.
That's Kelly.
She was hunched over in the backdrop.
I'm so distracted. I can't even talk about the World Series.
So ODB, that's the couch. Kelly was lying down on the couch over there.
Nice.
She's just hanging out.
She was hunched over, though, was the best part.
No, she was literally lying out on the couch. She has it like full recline, like lying out.
Great casting.
All right, sorry. Anyway,
Kelly, you got caught on camera. You might as well come in now if you want. Let's go back, ODB. Keep going.
All right. Once a year, we all get together, or the whole poker community. We play tournaments for 2 months, and buy-ins range from like 1,000 to 100,000 per event. There's about 80 events. It's normally in the summer, June and July, but with COVID, they pushed it back, and we get started tomorrow. So for the next 60 days, I'll be submersed in the poker world, but I'm going to try to give you guys a show every week. I can't promise. There might be one I miss, but thanks to Tony and Dunkel and JSU, you guys all agreed to kind of accommodate my schedule a little bit. So I appreciate that. And Thursday, tomorrow, starts one of the big ones, $25,000 buy-in. So big tournament for me. And so I'll be wrapped up in that, hopefully for the next few days. And so if we were going to talk football this week with me, it was going to be today. So I appreciate you guys making time late night, and everybody is joining. Hopefully we can give you a few good nuggets and make you some money like we did last week.
Oh yeah, man. And good luck to you. I hope you fucking crush that tournament and the rest to come. But of course, we wanted to make sure that you were on this show. We weren't doing it without ODB. And before I get to Tony, who's going to talk about his friggin' 12-leg Wong teaser, just absolute demolished betting this past weekend, I got to bring in Dunkel because, God, I love seeing Dunkel's face twice in 1 week. I mean, it was just amazing. I got to see him on the Up the Lock show on Sunday. Dunkel, how was your Sunday, my friend?
I've had better. I've had worse. It started terrible because we did a show together, but it went up. It went up from there. I will say this: who is JSU to be like? I can't be doing a show on a Wednesday night. The dude, first of all, he eats dinner at midnight. So what exactly is he doing for the next 2 hours? He's like, guys, it's a real, you're really pulling my chains.
I wouldn't be eating dinner at midnight if the show didn't go from 10 to midnight, but the show's going till midnight. I can guarantee.
What was happening from 7 to 10 is my question.
No, bro. No. It's got to be the last thing I do. All right. You eat and then you go to bed or you watch sports and you go to bed. It's got to be the last thing I do. All right. That's how
dinner is the last thing you do each day.
No, I eat dinner and I'll watch sports and I'll go to bed. I can't be like doing a show before I eat though. It's going to bring me down after. All right. That's why I'm popping a Celsius and getting my energy drink. All right. This show's about to fucking pop.
Yeah, I have no comment to that. But yes, happy to be on again. And ODB, best of luck with everything at the World Series. And
thank you.
And yeah, I guess we can kick it over to you, Tony.
So what is it, ODB? What is it, a 3-day? What is it?
Yeah, 3-day.
So what's that put you at? Saturday we're shipping before Sunday NFL?
Yeah, that's.
What do they play down to going into Saturday? Final table?
I don't know, bro. I just show up when they tell me
you
to show up.
You freaking know because you get the job done. You got it mapped out.
That's it. I'm just going to play. Yeah, we'll probably get to the final 6 or 8 probably going into Saturday. And we'll just try to ship like we did this weekend. We fucking gave winners last week.
Don't be shifting the focus yet. We're still talking about you here. You're like these guys
poker?
That don't like the attention on you. Well, what's the deal? Do we got any bracelet bets out there? I want to dig into this for a second. Do we got any? Everybody's got bracelet bets. Do you got bracelet bets?
Well, last year I had bracelet bets, and we shipped all those when I shipped the bracelet. But this year, no bracelet bets.
None.
Just because COVID's so messed up, man. And you accidentally get it. You're out for 2 weeks. There's nothing you can do about it.
You're not getting it. You run too good. You're not getting it.
Well, and just. Who knows? I mean, if it's a shit show down there with the COVID and the vaccine, like I don't want to be obligated to be stuck playing all, for months. If I just don't know what we're gonna get. I mean, we haven't had a World Series in 2 years, so I love it and I live for it. But the last few years with football and golf and things, like I'm not as committed to waking up first thing, getting there first thing every day till the end. Like this week, Sunday, I'll go in late. I mean, I'm not missing NFL football. But no bracelet bets, but I'm still going to try.
What if I want to get some action with you? Like what kind of odds should I have to give someone on you? 5-1? What kind of odds?
I don't know. I think
I seen Daniels 3-1, right? And Madisel was trying to give people 5-1.
What are you? An idiot, bro.
Well, yeah, but
I mean, I love him, but
what do you think your true odds are?
My true odds, I'm probably I don't know. I think I should be 3-1. If you can get 4 or 5-1, that's probably pretty good.
So if I just tried to get a good line and threw it out there, like I want,
if you threw 5-1 and anybody took it, I'd eat that up. I'm no one.
Well, that's what I want to spark you a little bit too. I want people to fire you up a little, giving you action.
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, if you can 5-1. We'll take as much as we can get, and then I'll play every day for you, buddy.
Now you're just getting me excited here.
Every day.
I'm going to send a tweet out right now.
Yeah, get your boy EM2 to pony up.
Does he want to go against you? Should I call him out and be like?
Probably not. He likes me, I think. I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
No, he likes you.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
let's get into the winners, JS. You bring us into the winners now.
Let's go. Let's get to some football.
I am. And first of all, we're talking about winners. I mean, ODB kind of said, oh, yeah, we gave you the winners. I mean, fucking Tony on this goddamn sheet, he gave you like 10 friggin' winners on here. I mean, I'm literally looking at it. It's all green. Tony, how many units did you win last week if people followed you?
So I always talk about these teasers, but when you get it in there, I even put it on the sheet. How many 2-team combos, 3-team, 4-team, 5-team, 6-team combos? Lowered the units. It was over 50 units. If you're betting, what is that, Dunkel? You're better with math. $100, you'd win $5,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is massive. And that's not going to happen. That'll happen twice this year, probably. Maybe even just this week. It took a 66-yard field goal to hit them, but it doesn't matter how you get there. When they're a winner, when you go to the ticket window, they don't say, how'd you get here? Just, did you win? Did you lose? I mean, I'll admit it. It was lucky to get that. And we liked Detroit in that game too, by the way. That was another winner we had.
Yep.
But the teasers, you just got to bet the teasers. Like I always say, 7.5 down to 1.5. We got a little lucky, but they did all ship, all the Wongs, 7-0. plus a ton of bets on the side that we did good too. I mean, we hit a few dogs. The Bengals, I know we were on. I don't have the sheet in front of me.
Chargers.
I got the sheet. The sheet, and I'll just read them out real quick. But the Bengals, the Chargers, the Colts, Lions.
The Colts were not a winner. That was one of the few losers.
The Vikings, the Rams, the Browns, the Saints. I mean, Ravens, Cardinals. Pretty much all winners outside of the Colts, I think.
And ODB didn't like the Colts, obviously, either. That was more of a – once Carson was in, I thought I got a decent price.
That was a homer pick, Tony.
Yeah.
That was a homer pick.
Let's not talk about luck either, Tony. I mean, that 66-yarder was no doubt.
Yeah, off the crossbar, too. That was pure skill.
That was as soon as it left his foot. That thing would have been good from 66.5 yards.
The worst part is
Tony gave you the money line with Detroit. So
I was just leading into that, though. I was actually mad when it happened because when you do the teasers, it's more of a long-term play anyways. I'm not even thinking about it in my head. I'm just putting them in. I knew I was rooting on Detroit money line, and freaking Uncle T, I always talk about these damn premature texts. With 15 seconds left, he says, how much you going to win on Detroit money line? I'm like, that freaking game's not over, and they got Tucker kicking field goals. And sure enough, there they go. And I'm pissed because freaking Detroit lost. And then later on, it hit me that all the teasers stayed alive because of the field goal. Who runs better than Big T? I mean, that's just running pure.
Yeah, Big T runs fucking pure. I'll tell you right now.
I don't run pure. I still haven't cashed a ticket in NFL, though. Put that on the agenda for DFS. I got to get off the schneid this week.
Well, you got to stop playing Carson Wentz.
I didn't play him. Thank you.
Oh, thank God. All right, because they're a mess right now. We'll get to them. We'll get to them in this show. But I mean, that's it. Big T just shipped another 50 units on the sheet. Gave out winners on the show. I mean, it's just another day for Big T.
Dave Clark, Empire likes us. We're Empire's fan. Empire likes us. He doesn't like many people. He likes us though. So stop, Dave Clark.
He definitely likes Tony. Tony asked him to come on a show, and he was like literally there, even though he didn't show his camera, but he was literally there within like an hour and did a show.
Empire
for Tony.
likes me. I mean, I think he likes me at least.
If you want to get started on the Wong teaser, just fire up Cincy
tomorrow night, right? The staple again.
Yeah,
you just
real
got
quick.
it.
Real quick.
It's the best too. We've talked about this in the past. There's nothing better than the Thursday game that can start your whole week. Just put it with that. Even if it's not a Wong, say you like a game on Sunday a lot, throw Cincinnati in there with them. You still got the same price, and you're getting 6 points off your number. I mean, I don't see how Cincinnati loses. We can talk about that game for a second.
I mean, if you guys want to start there, we can start there real quick. I think it's going to be a very cut and dry, easy game, but let's go there. We'll start with the winners with the Thursday night real quick. Bengals, Jaguars, -7. Bengals are favored. 46 is the total. ODB, you said start your week off with a W. This could be the one. I'm assuming it's the Bengals, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, for the Wong teasers, it's just easy. I mean, you cross 7 and 3, you get that thing down to basically a pick. But I like Bengals. I like Bengals Survivor. I like Bengals to lay the number. I like Bengals and Wong teaser. Just whatever you want with the Bengals. If you're running any, full slate Thursday contests, feel free to put in some Bengals. I mean, this team at home, like what you got to worry about the Jags, I think, is when you have a team, it didn't end up coming to fruition, but you got a team like the Cardinals who has bigger aspirations. They got bigger games coming up on their schedule. They can look past them. You got teams like the Ravens going into the Lions, they're looking past them. But the Bengals aren't the type of team. They're not really going to look past Jacksonville. I think they're a team that needs to fire it on all cylinders. And so I like the Bengals a lot Thursday. I'll lay the 7. But yeah.
I will say one thing too about what ODB said. So I was on Jacksonville the last 2 weeks. I don't think it was that bad a play either. I know people are making fun of me in the chat. They lost by 10 to the Broncos and 12 to the Arizona, and they were in both of those games later than the score shows you. I didn't think they were that terrible for facing two pretty good teams, the Broncos and Arizona. They weren't like awful, but this is a bad spot. Short week on the road versus a Cincinnati team that's good, at least better than we thought. This is not the spot for the Jags, but I'm not done with them. I'm really not. I hope they play someone with a bad defense next week with 10 days off. Please give me a bad defense next week.
I will say those games were both in Jacksonville, but you're right.
They were, but they were versus two good teams.
The Arizona game was a lot closer, and the pick six kind of did them in, right? Like kind of at the end. That kind of sealed it, and it was over after that.
They easily could have covered both weeks, though, is the point.
That's true. Yeah. You're right. So let's go back. Dunkel, real quick, just your thoughts on the Thursday night game.
Yeah, definitely with you guys on the Bengals. More because of there's just certain stats specifically that are pretty big red flags for the Jaguars early on in the year. Time of possession. This team is getting dominated in time of possession. Everybody they play, they're losing time of possession by like 5+ minutes. Some of that has to do with the fact that they're playing fast. A lot of it has to do with the fact that they're 3 and outs. And of course, this team by far leads the league in turnovers. Trevor Lawrence has 2+ in every game, 3+ in 2 of the 3. It is hard to imagine. And I know turnovers can be high variance, right? But when is that going to correct itself? Could it happen in this game? I guess, because you're right. The Jaguars haven't been as bad offensively. The turnovers has skewed their scores a bit. But there's nothing where you watch Trevor Lawrence and you're like, man, these turnovers aren't on him. I mean, he's getting beefed by his receivers. He has been making bad decisions with the football and very inaccurate throws from him that have led to these interceptions. And like I said, there's on a short week, it's hard to imagine that kind of corrects itself. I don't love anything in this game, but I do agree with the panel overall that I think it's a great survivor look. Get the Bengals out of the way because you're never going to pick them again this year. And the teaser makes sense as well because, like I said, overall, it's tough to imagine. You would need a real hiccup from the Bengals to lose this week, as crazy as it might sound.
Yeah, and Tony, just real quick, Titans, Dolphins, Seahawks, Bills, Colts are the next 5 games for the Jaguars after the Bengals.
They get the freaking Titans next. You just got me full 6 to midnight. Oh,
and the Dolphins after that.
The Titans next week. Oh, that's tasty.
All right, we'll talk about
that. Was like the exact team I wanted you to tell me.
There you go. You gonna give us a take on this game real quick, or are you just done? Yeah.
I mean, I said I like Cincinnati, and I'm gonna put it in all the Wong teasers.
Yeah, it's a perfect game for that. So I'm in it. Not much else. I agree with both.
Cincinnati's defense has been better than people think too. Just to throw that out there.
Way better.
Yeah.
Like way better than people thought. Yeah, way better. And
it's just a bad spot for Jacksonville, right? Like it's a terrible spot for Jacksonville.
Joe Burrow's been, I think, even better than what people thought he was going to be to start the year. He has looked really good in my opinion.
And Chase looks like a total stud, like we thought. Yeah. I mean, he's just a monster.
Yep. All right, well, let's move on to the main slate of games. We'll start off with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. This is definitely going to be a popular game from a DFS standpoint. Tony, I know you wanted me to remind you, do not play dusty running backs and dusty Hurts. Do not play any of them. You told me to remind you. I'm just here as your friend to remind you. That's my job. I'm done for the week. ODB -7. Chiefs are favored, obviously, even though it's away, and 54 is the total. What do we got here?
Give me the square side. Give me the public side. I think Kansas City just destroys this team. The Eagles are beat up on the line. They stink. The Chiefs coming off of 2 big losses. This is such a get-right spot, and I actually like them on the road better than at home. Now we don't have to lay the 12 or 13 or whatever it is. We can get out with a touchdown. Sucks it was 5.5 before Philly showed how really terrible they are on Monday night. I think this is a woodshed game. This is a get-right game for the Chiefs. I think they're going to crush them. This game's got like 41-17 written all over it to me. So, I mean, I know the public's going to be all over the Chiefs, and I don't care. So am I.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people are going to be on the Chiefs. Dunkel, are you with the public side, or you have another take?
Yeah, I'll likely be off this game. I will say though that I do agree with ODB that I definitely wouldn't be betting Philly in this spot. And to be honest, I guess the people that are betting Philly are the people that have basically been fading Kansas City for the last 2 years against the number. and being profitable, of course. The scary part with Kansas City is it's one thing to not cover your games, but win them. Kansas City is not winning them this year. So it's been a little bit of a different perspective, from them as a whole team. But overall, you could also add the little narrative street with Andy Reid going back to Philly. I'm sure he loves nothing more than kind of stomping on them, considering they basically wrote him out of town years ago. But overall, I do agree. I'm not going to be a spot I bet myself, but there's no chance I'm betting the Eagles in this spot. It makes a lot of sense that KC bounces back, and public side, square side, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. The number at 7, I'm sure this will be a very popular teaser, probably one of the most popular of the entire week. But again, it is. I mean, could you imagine Kansas City being 1-3 after 4 games? It is okay. It could happen, but my God, so I'm with ODB there.
Yeah,
not to mention also.
Oh, go. Sorry, ODB.
Sorry, I was just going to say also. If you look deeper into these games, Kansas City really has been very unfortunate in the turnover department. And, if you want to predict off of turnovers, that's not really, it's a tough thing to predict, especially fumbles. Fumbles are not really that predictive. And Kansas City has really been on the bad side of the turnover docket. I mean, I had the Chargers money line and spread last week, and that was a great cover. But I think the turnover was like 4-0 or something like that. They turned the ball over against the Ravens. I don't think the Eagles are. I'm not going to just predict that trend continues. And if Kansas City can hold on to the ball, even just make it an even turnover battle, I think that they just cover. They cover easy stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has definitely had some issues holding on to the ball. He's fumbled, I think, 2 games in a row now, I think. But I will say, I'm not saying they should have lost these games, but they've played the Browns, the Ravens, and the Chargers. I would say that those are 3 of the better teams in the AFC. That's just my personal opinion. So do we give them a pass? Whatever. They were close games. They could have won them, like ODB said, with the turnovers. Obviously not going their way. But, Tony, let's bring you in here. This is a popular game. I'm sure it will be from a DFS standpoint because you got the highest total, I'm pretty sure, on the board for the main slate. What are we doing here from a betting and DFS side?
Yeah, it's not the spot I wanted to see because I'm down on Kansas City, and after Monday night, I'm definitely down on Philly. They just look so bad. So bad. But, man, Kansas City, so – you said it, the 3 games were tough games, but part of me thinks they're kind of figured out. Like, you play them too deep, you double Kelsey, you double Tyreek, and you just make them beat you with other people.
And then you watch Pringle drop every pass as well.
And then you watch these bums just drop stuff and different things happen. Philadelphia, what they do, they did it Monday night. They're going to do it again. They're going to play too deep, and they're going to double these. I mean, so they're going to have to throw to these other guys, and Edwards-Helaire is going to have to be decent. But the problem is, man, Philly's bad. I wish I could fade KC here because I do think Philly could rise up and play them good. But, man, Philly looked too bad for me to back them. I'm with these guys. It's either Kansas City or pass. I really do wish I could take Philly. I want to. I just don't think I can pull the trigger. They look so bad. I don't see how they score, I guess, is the issue. If Philadelphia covers, I think it has to be low scoring. I don't think Philly can score like 30. Even against Kansas City, I don't think they can. Hurts is going to be cheap, too. He's going to tempt people to play him. I'm not going to be one of them. He just didn't look good to me at all. He's going to be popular, though, at 6,900. I mean, he's going to get ownership for sure. I'm not going to be one of them. He did not look good to me at all. The dude couldn't. I know Alabama was loaded. Tua came in for him, but the dude got benched at Bama even with all those receivers. He wasn't really good at Oklahoma. His stats look good, so people are going to be like, what are you talking about? He was awesome. Sure, in college he could run. He's never been able to throw at all. On Monday night, how many times did he miss wide open guys? Blanket coverage. He just missed them, throwing them way over their head. He just sucks. He's just not good. So I guess give me Kansas City or pass. You can obviously play the Chiefs guys, especially. I mean, Mahomes hasn't been great yet, like the Chiefs haven't, but he's gone for 25 plus all 3 weeks. He's definitely going to go for 25 plus versus the Eagles. So you can definitely go to him, and obviously Tyreek and Kelsey, even though I don't love it, you can always go with it.
Yeah, I'm just going to say if they played Dallas and said, okay, we're going to not let Dak beat us, and we're going to play that 2-eye safety and let them have better like running situations. What do you think they're going to do against Pat Mahomes? They're going to do the exact same thing, right? They're going to try and play that exact same way, stop the deep routes and say, dare them to run and just hope that they can somehow try and stop them. I don't see how they stop the run. And if they did, I still don't see how they stop them enough where Pat Mahomes doesn't get enough to win. So for that standpoint, I think it's just the Chiefs easy here. Philly's not going to beat them. They're not going 1-4 like Dunkel said. There's no friggin' way that's happening. So
it has to be one of the fishiest lines of the season, though. Like everyone's going to be on the Chiefs. The Eagles look terrible. Everybody saw it. I mean, it's going to be like 90%, 10% the action. And like Dunkel said, the teasers, this will definitely, I promise you, no matter what happens, this will not be a teaser game for me. I will not take the Chiefs in a teaser. I just won't do it. I think it's a bad teaser game.
I think if somebody who wants to bet Philly, I think just maybe bet their team total over because
they have to score.
Do we really think Kansas City's going to, Philly's going to win a game like 17-13? No. If Philly wins, it's going to be because they score 30. Yeah. Because Kansas City's giving up, they're like dead last in the league in yards per play allowed. This defense is some real ass cheeks. And that's really got to get corrected. I mean, because Kansas City's offense has been fine. They're like fourth in the league in like every offensive category, except for really running the football. But everything passing wise, they're like top of the league.
Kansas City's offense isn't like it's not like it's bad. We're not saying it's bad or even like like it's fine. The problem with Kansas City's offense is they need those deep routes. Those guys run deep routes. Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman, and when you play those two safeties back and you can double Tyreek and you force the ball into the other guys, the Pringles and the Robinsons, and always just forcing the underneaths to Kelsey, which will work, but eventually it's just not what they want. They want to be able to set up those deep plays, and teams just are saying this year, we're not giving you those. We'll keep giving you good looks to run against us. We are not giving you those deep plays down the field. And it just seems like Pat Mahomes wants to force it, and he's just not getting the looks he wants. It's whatever, but it's definitely affecting them a little bit. They'll figure it out, but
it might be Darrell Williams week for you, though. You called it. I think it might be Darrell Williams week.
One last thing on this game is let's look at who the Chiefs have played, and it's against Stefanski, Harbaugh, and Staley. And now there's a severe coaching drop off from this Philly joker to Andy Reid versus Nick, whatever his name is. I mean, there's a big gap in experience and talent at the coaching level. So yeah, maybe some of these other coaches have slowed down the Chiefs, but I mean, a lot of that was courtesy of fumbles and such too. But I mean, I don't even trust this Philly coach to be able to put a game plan in order to stop Mahomes. And I mean, they're solved. They're solved because Tampa and Staley and Harbaugh somewhat slowed them down. They still scored 20-something points every game this season. So I don't trust the coaching. I don't trust the coaching mismatch. We have a coaching huge mismatch, one of the best versus probably one of the worst. You have the best quarterback versus probably the worst or bottom 5 quarterback in the league. And the one advantage Philly had was on the lines, and they got like multiple linemen hurt this week. So if you don't like money, you can exclude them from your teasers, but I like money. I think I'd put them in.
And the
best point by far, the coaching mismatch for sure.
And the Chiefs have one win against the Browns, who JSU has them as a Super Bowl favorite for the next 2 decades.
I'll just say the Browns were dominating that game in the first half. The second half, I don't know what happened. Something happened. They fell asleep at the wheel. Don't know. But all I know is that they have the perfect team to beat the Chiefs when it comes down to playoff time. That's all I'm going to say. The Chargers might be the second best team. Those 2 teams have the best chance of beating them when it comes to playoff time in the AFC. I'm talking about, obviously. But let's move on because Philly's
one of the
not winning this
reasons,
game.
though, just to talk about these Wong teasers, people always fall for it and throw these 7s into their teasers, and I'm just telling you, they just kill you in the long run. People do it. So, for example, if I was going to do the Chiefs, I would just money line parlay it because you're giving up too much. You don't need the 1 to 3. So you might as well, like if I money line parlay the Bengals and the Chiefs, it's only minus 140. Whereas if you tease it, you're going to have 1.5 and 1, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but you're only giving up like 13 cents of juice. I don't know. Like if you're teasing 7s, I think you're going to lose long term. I'll just say that. Doesn't mean you're not ever going to, but yeah.
And Shane West is telling me my hairline strong. Thank you.
You're getting you got credit for your shirt tonight. You're freaking being thin, your hairline. Yeah. I mean,
this is a true story. Dunkel came in and said I looked thin. Like
you got the lady hunched over the couch in the background. I mean, you got it all going on tonight.
She's gone now. She's going to work overnight. So I got the night to myself.
Last week we gave away a 555 ticket. How'd that guy do?
He min cashed, I think. So nothing crazy, but nice little. I mean, $1,000 or whatever it was. I think
$1,000 to watch the show and insult JSU. You gotta love that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, those insults they were strong. They were making fun of me about my Browns too the entire time. All right, but let's move on. We got the Tennessee Titans and the New York Jets. Another game, 7-point favorite here. Titans are favored. 44 is the total. So 7, we got Julio Jones is dealing with injuries. He's hit or miss to play. A.J. Brown's he's already ruled out, I think, for this week. I think they have him week to week. But they still got big dog Derrick Henry, and he can keep that train going. ODB, are we just on Tennessee and the big dog here?
I mean, if you watch the show, you know I'm big on Tennessee just for the season. I like this team. The Jets are atrocious, maybe as bad as the Jags, maybe worse than the Jags. This spot's not that great. Tennessee coming off of a road trip to Seattle, amazing comeback, flying back, basically just beat their biggest division rival. Now they just have a walkover game in the Jets. I don't really want to jump off Tennessee. I mean, if I truly believe that Tennessee is one of the best teams in the AFC, and I truly believe the Jets are one of the worst, then, it's tough for me not to like Tennessee here. But I think I'm going to stay off this spot. The NFL is a lot about spots. And, we played the Lions against the Ravens because just it was a spot. It wasn't because we thought the Lions had a better roster or anything. It was coming off of big spots and kind of a look-through game. Kind of think we might be in that similar situation with Tennessee, but on the flip side, they can just hand it off to big dog, and maybe this is a get-right spot for the defense. So I'm just going to stay off of it. But DFS purposes, I mean, I don't hate it if you want to play some Tennessee guys, especially if either of the big receivers are ruled out. Chester Rogers probably is pretty cheap. He looks pretty good. You can definitely play big dog. I mean, the game script is just perfect for him, and this Jets team's pretty poor. So,
yeah, both guys, Julio and AJ Brown, missed practice. So, I mean, they're probably one of them's probably not playing. Maybe both of them. Who knows? We'll find out. Dunkel, are you riding Big Dog Henry tonight, or is this a Jets maybe sneaky can cover type game here with Tennessee a little banged up?
I don't care what the advanced analytics might tell you about this Jets team. I mean, they're not passing anything on the eye test. I mean, just watch this team play. Wilson is tough to watch. 2 to 7, I think, TD to interception ratio. Little Corey Davis revenge game for those into that, but outside of that, I think you can almost blindly at this point bet Jets team total under anytime it's like 17.5 against any team for the rest of the season. Because I don't know. This team's got to figure some things out. Their offensive line's terrible. They're running like a 3-headed backfield. Their wide receivers, Braxton Barrios is like their most targeted wide receiver. Their entire offense is a borderline joke. Their defensive line is okay, but it's not as good as like I thought it would be. And their secondary is one of the worst in football. So this team is just bad on so many fronts that, yes, it's a big line when you look at who might be injured for Tennessee coming in, and Tennessee does have their question marks on the defensive end. But man, people that are lining up to bet the Jets right now, just like I actually laughed out loud when Wilson threw his last interception against Denver with 30 seconds left. It's like, what is this dude doing? It's just this team is tough to watch. And yeah, if you're betting them, again, maybe advanced analytics are telling you this number is a bit egregious, but no, I've watched this team enough. Obviously, I'm from New York. They're abysmal. So yeah, I'm off Jets games, for sure for at least the next few weeks. They have to show me something, and they should show somebody something before you want to bet them. But I'm going to be off them entirely.
Yeah, Braxton Barrios being one of your top 2 receivers in like snaps and routes run. That's not a good sign if you're a Jets fan. Tony, what do you think of the Braxton Barrios led Jets?
I love that you three all start by shitting on this game, because this is by far my favorite bet of the week, and it's the Jets, because I think first of all, if Julio and Brown's definitely not going to play, but if Julio doesn't play too, the dude from Indiana, Westbrook, Ekine is their best receiver. Like, is that better than the other way? Hell no, those dudes are awful too. And we want to talk about matchups. The Jets have played at Carolina, unbelievable defense, at Denver, unbelievable defense, and Bill Belichick versus the Patriots. He's had 3 brutal matchups. Now he gets Tennessee, plays no defense at home. The Jets are going to win this football game outright. Sign me up. I love it. And I like guys too, like Michael Carter for 4,500 against this defense. I freaking love Michael Carter this week. I'm glad you guys all shit on him, because I like to be made fun of. This is where I thrive. I freaking love the Jets this week. Sign me up.
So Tony, I didn't even get to talk about this game yet. I was just
You've never liked the Jets in this spot in your life. I don't need to hear you.
No, you had your time to talk. I didn't even give my opinion on this game. All I said was the Braxton Barrios comment got me to chuckle.
You were making fun of them.
I actually do like the Jets.
Well, let's go then. This is like last week when ODB came in behind on the Lions.
And you gave the point I was going to make, which is they literally have played 3 of the tougher defensive Carolina, like you said, Denver, who I literally think is the best defense in football and probably has one of the best secondaries in football just overall. In Denver too, which is way tougher. And I knew that going in. And then Bill Belichick, like you said, this is such an easier matchup going from those 3 matchups to now Tennessee. I mean,
I don't see how Tennessee's going to score on top of it.
I mean, Derrick Henry could easily.
He's not going to, though. They're going to shut him down.
The same way 3 average offenses put up 20 against this defense.
I think there's scoring in this game, to be honest with you. I think we could see a decent game where
I don't think there's going to be scoring, but I think
there's going to be scoring. Win. And I like Corey Davis. Get your Michael Carter. Get that play out of here. Don't play him.
He's going to crush.
Don't play the running backs.
Michael Carter's going to crush.
There's so many good running backs on this slate, Tony. Please don't play Michael Carter. But anyways, Corey Davis against his old team. I like him. And then whoever plays for Tennessee, I mean, if they miss Julio and A.J. Brown, they're going to have nobody. Like, they're going to literally throw out there Chester Rogers, Westbrook, maybe Reynolds is activated. He wasn't even active. They had him a healthy scratch, I think, last week. So he wasn't even playing. Maybe he plays this week.
He's got to be hurt or something. He couldn't have been a healthy scratch.
No, they said he was like an inactive, like he wasn't injured.
JSU's expecting a monster stat line from Racy McMath, the second string Tennessee Titans wide receiver.
Little McMath. Yeah, I like it. You guys make fun of this, but seriously, I think there are actually some points scored in this game. I think it's a get right spot for the entire Jets team, not just the defense, but the offense too, where Wilson actually plays a little better. And Dunko, you can laugh at that. That's
I love that Dunko's laughing. This is good. I'm excited.
That's
ODB's
We'll
interested
see.
though. I can tell ODB likes the Jets.
Well, I mean, I don't really like the misrepresentation that we all went against the.
Get on the Jets with us then. Let's go.
I'm the biggest Tennessee homer.
Well, let's go then. Get in on the Jets.
And what did I say? I said I don't
get in with
Tennessee
us
this week.
This is
I don't
true.
like
He
Tennessee
said he
this
was
week.
off the game.
Well, get in with us. Double down and get in with us.
That's as good as being on the Jets. But look, being off the game against the Titans, that's as good as being on the Jets. That's
I like that.
as far as I'm willing to go.
All right. Well, he's off the game, Tony. What more do you want?
That means he likes the Jets. He's in with us. I'm sold.
I'm in.
I think they're going to win outright, though, is what I'm saying. I think they win the game.
Please don't win outright. I can't afford to be giving back.
Okay, I'll let them lose by a field goal then. Win by for ODB.
Come on, bro.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to win the division. The Colts are terrible.
Yeah, the Colts, what, are they 0-3 to start? Did they lose all three?
Yeah, they freaking lost all three. They haven't had a chance.
Let's go to that game. Let's move on to that game.
Please move to
enough of the Jets.
Game.
Let's get on with this.
Yeah.
All right.
This is what happens. We just talked about the Jets for 20 minutes.
Well, but we like the Jets game.
I know.
So
I like the Jets.
I mean, I don't know. All right, let's go to the Colts game.
Let the record show real quick. As soon as I jumped in pre-show, JSU's like, all right, Dunkel, cut the shit this show. It needs to be under 2 hours. It needs to be under 2 hours.
Sorry, this Peach Celsius, it's kicking in good. I'll tell you, Peach, this is a good one right here. I think Peach is the winner. It might be the best one of all. It's got a nice, real strong peach taste. I'm feeling it right now. It's not like water.
I'm going to get a refill while you transition us here, James.
All right. Well, as I transition, we'll talk about the Colts next because ODB wanted to talk about them. So Colts, Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are favored here, -2. 42.5 is the total. So another lowish total here. ODB, what are we doing with this game?
I don't like the Colts typically, but I really don't like the Dolphins either. So, I mean, let's just look at what the Colts have done to start the season. They're getting 2.5 versus Seattle. They're getting 3.5 versus the Rams, two of the better teams in the NFL. Then they go to Tennessee. And now all of a sudden they're getting 2 versus the Dolphins. I mean, I know we have a different venue. It's not in Indy, but those first 2 games, they're only getting 2.5 and 3.5 versus 2 of the best teams in the NFL. And now they're getting almost the same amount versus Jacoby Brissett. I mean, I don't understand this line at all. I think there might have been a little overcorrection on the Colts. We got Sharman Soft, Carson Wentz on the other side. So, I mean, who knows, what he's doing, but he's had another week in the system. I just think the Colts are better. I think the Colts win outright here. This is I don't think the Colts are a 6-10 or 6-11 or a 5-12 team, and they got to win some games. So Dolphins seem like a good spot for them to win. I like the Colts to win this game.
Yeah. So, I mean, Quentin Nelson going down for them, definitely one of the worst injuries outside of the quarterback they could probably have, in my opinion. But I do agree with you. Dunkel, I don't get this line. I still agree with ODB. I think the Colts are going to win this game outright. Dolphins, they're not doing it for me with Jacoby Brissett. What about you?
Yeah, same here. I mean, they were spotted a 14-0 lead because of the Raiders' negligence. It was a pick six, and then they went for it on like 4th down inside their own 35 and didn't get it, and the Dolphins had a short field. So they were spotted a 14-0 lead and still lost the game. Here, the Colts, I get it. It's tough. They're a tough team to watch. They've been a tough team to bet. But, to ODB's point, I mean, it's not like they've had like terrible losses. I mean, Tennessee's a good team. The Rams are one of the best teams in the NFC, has been proven, with their wins this year. And Seattle is definitely one of the better teams in the NFC. Here they do draw an easier spot. Wentz's health matters. You mentioned the one player as well, JSU. I mean, here's like this team. Look, I like betting them because I do think that they're often undervalued in the marketplace, but here I think is another perfect example of it. I mean, you get him getting him as a dog in this spot. This shouldn't be a game they would lose. Now, granted, again, weird things have happened in favor of some of these Miami games, and we'll credit coaching for it. I mean, again, the perfect example is the spotting 14-0 last week. So yeah, if the Colts go down 14-0, the game's probably over. But as long as they keep it close, you gotta like the Colts and Wentz to be able to get their first win of the season.
Tony, we all think that the Colts just here. I don't get it. Like they should be favored. They're not favored. They're the dog here. I think they're the easy bet. What about you? Everyone else does too.
Yeah, I think the Colts suck. I'm going to put them in teasers for sure. This is the perfect teaser game. 1.5 for 2, tease it up to 7.5 for 8. Take the Colts. But man, I don't feel good. I don't feel good about the Colts. I don't feel good about Miami either, though. I think both these teams are bad. This is an example of the game I was talking about when we started. We can move it along from DFS for me. I'm definitely not going to play anyone, but it would just be a teaser game for me. Colts in the Wong teasers, nothing else, though. I don't feel good about either one of these teams.
So you don't like anything from a DFS standpoint?
I mean, I'm looking at the prices. No, I tried to make Jonathan Taylor happen last week. He sucks. Pittman's fine. I mean, if you play Pittman, okay. I mean, he is what he is. But no, I don't want anything in this.
So I will just say Miami has struggled stopping the run. I mean, they gave up over 100 yards to Peyton Barber. And Peyton Barber in this beaten down Oakland Raiders offensive line that was missing multiple pieces, and they got gashed by friggin' Peyton Barber. Even with Nelson going down, Taylor, this is the perfect spot for them. They haven't been in a spot where they
can't block anybody. It's like the Steelers.
I understand that, but this team, I was actually talking with one of our subs, a sharp dude, NY Jets. Everyone sees, or not NY Jets, NYG fan. He's a Giants fan. He's in the chats. He plays all the sports. Sharp dude. He was DMing with me, and he said it right after. And I remember watching the game and saying it to myself. But he's like, we're going to have to attack Miami because they can't stop anyone on the ground. And if I think the Colts are going to have a lead in this game and keep a lead, I think this is the first spot that's actually good for Jonathan Taylor, where he's not going to get out-snapped by Nyheim Hines because they're not going to need Hines in there constantly catching the football. So all that to say, I think this is the bounce back week we've been waiting for Jonathan Taylor. Last year, I hit this guy perfectly. I called him right when he was ready to break out. Everyone was playing him way before he was ready, and they were losing. I'm telling you right now, I think this is the spot where he bounces back.
It's not.
It's fine. You don't have to be on it, but I think it is. So the one thing I am worried about is the little knee injury that popped up. They have him limited, but we'll see.
Way. There's no way he's on there. Mark my words. No way.
I agree with JSU here. I like Jonathan Taylor as well. I think that this is a game that this is a kitchen sink game for the Colts. They have to win this game. They have to, and they've been, they've gone up against, the Rams. The Rams D-line was tough. Tennessee obviously was a little better spot, but you got in a negative game script instantly. I can't see Jacoby Brissett getting up immediately. They've been semi-preserving Taylor, and this was a guy that was drafted in the top 5 to 7 and fantasy leagues. Like, this is a get right spot for him. He's 6,300. At the beginning of the year, we thought he was going to be that second tier, right below the Dalvin Cook and C-Mac Kamara group. I think this is a really good spot for Jonathan Taylor and the Colts. And as a resident Colt hater, I think this is a good spot for the Colts.
And I hate the Colts too.
I like it.
I hate the Colts too. And I'm looking at it, ODB. Jonathan Taylor's price tag, 6'3", we're not going to get a better price tag on this guy in DFS probably all year.
He's being priced at the same as Chuba Hubbard and Kareem Hunt and David Montgomery and Tony Pollard.
Yeah, I'll take all those guys. I'll give you guys some.
No, stop it, Tony. You will not. I'm calling you out.
I don't have a ton of conviction on a lot of stuff. I have a ton of conviction here. Jonathan Taylor isn't it.
Okay.
There's little you can frame this,
Tony
Simon.
Pollard.
Save this quote for next week. There is a 0% chance Jonathan Taylor's on the winner. No chances.
You always use this as an excuse, but when Jonathan Taylor runs in for 2 touchdowns and has a positive game script all game, and they actually feed him the ball more,
then I'll say you were right.
15 touches.
Then I'll say you were right.
But you think the Colts are going to win, don't you? Or do you think
I don't think they're necessarily going to win. Like, I think they suck.
Well,
I'm annoyed. I'm done touting Carson Wentz. I'm freaking done with it. I'm annoyed with the Colts. They suck.
You tout them against Seattle and the Rams and the Titans. Now they finally have a matchup.
You guys told me to stop being so stubborn. I've watched them.
It's fine, but they finally have a positive matchup.
But it's not a positive matchup. They haven't blocked at all, and now they lost their best lineman on top of it. They're terrible. There's no way these Colts are on the winner. Mark my words, 0 chance. No chance.
All I know is we got you to hate not just Carson Wentz, but the entire team. We got you to hate the entire
number 4 quarterback in the NFL, he said. For number 4 quarterback in the NFL, he's picking Jacoby Brissett to be the number 4 quarterback in the NFL.
Jacoby Brissett out of these streets.
He couldn't beat out Phillip Rivers for a job. He couldn't beat out Carson Wentz for a job, and you're taking him?
It's a tough scene out here so much. I just want people to know that normally this is me getting the shit. This is the one time where Tony's actually getting the shit from everyone.
We've already talked about this
right now, people. It feels so good.
We've already talked about this. No one gets more shit than me. We've already talked about this.
Also, one other thing, we can just throw this under the rug if you want, but Michael Pittman the last 2 weeks has gotten 12 targets both weeks. So whatever you want to say about Carson Wentz, dude loves him some Michael Pittman.
It's because they have no other receivers.
Yeah, which is great for DFS.
I don't mind Pittman for sure. I mean, Pittman's cheap, and there's literally no one. Like, look at their receivers.
Yep, I could listen to Jonathan Taylor, his ass cheeks all day long.
I'll stop it, Dunkel. You love Jonathan Taylor.
Fucking hate John.
I really think he's bad too. I'm with Dunkel. I can't imagine. I hope you guys don't play him.
Dunkel and me had these takes at the beginning of last year. We got made fun of for a while about it. But
you could have just blindly bet whatever Prize Picks was putting his number at every week under Jonathan Taylor until like week 12 when the hole started getting gigantic for him to walk through.
Oh, all right, let's move on. Houston Texans, Buffalo Bills. Bills, big favorites here. -16, I'm seeing. I think 17 in some places, but I'm seeing -16. Over under 47. Bills are favored here. I mean, this is just no one's betting the Texans here. I think this is just a stay away game, right? ODB.
I like the Bills. I know people don't like laying big numbers, but the Bills are the kind of team that I feel fine. I mean, they blow teams out, and they also throw the ball. They don't give a fuck. They're going to put up 40, and they just don't care. I mean, Josh Allen's going to throw for 4 or 5 touchdowns, and they're going to score 40 something. And if you think Mills can score 20 something, then yeah, they got a chance to cover. But if you don't, I just think the Bills this is just a roll show. This is probably a 38-6 or I mean, this is probably Matt Barkley Barkley probably gets like the fourth quarter of this game. It's going to be such a trouncing.
Uncle, what are you laughing at?
I love the confidence. I mean, ODB is basically like, I don't even think Houston should show up on Sunday.
They really shouldn't. They're awful.
No, I love the confidence, and look, I think that we could rule out Cole Beasley's non-being vaxxed an issue. He had a good week last week, so we could just check that off the list. But no, it was good to see Buffalo play well because there was some suspicions there that this team wasn't going to get it all together. They did play a complete game against Washington, and then now they followed up with arguably the worst team in football. It's a big number, but it's justified. I would say if you really like this spot, and ODB kind of hinted at it, you could bet Buffalo's team total over. It's probably like 32-ish, 33-ish, because that almost feels like a bet you're either going to barely lose or easily win. So I wouldn't mind that look for this game. But overall, I'll stay away. I'm also not a big fan of these big spreads, but this spot in particular, I could see it. It's justified. I'm just going to be off it. Again, Buffalo team total would be something worth targeting in my eyes.
I mean, I will just say the only team to put up over 24 points was my Cleveland Browns. Just saying, Carolina 24 and 21 for Houston. So Houston's Houston's not as bad. Houston, I will give Houston this. They haven't played as bad this year as I think everyone in the world, including me and probably everyone on the show, thought they were going to be. I will just say that. And Tyrod being out definitely hurts them because he was better with that team, obviously, than friggin' Davis Mills or whatever. But I'm not going to say they're the worst team, Dunkel, because I think we already have one or two teams that are definitely worse than them, and probably the Jags and then the Jets. So I'll say Houston's, bottom 5, but they're 4 or 5. I think they've deserved that after how they've played to start the year. Not as bad as I thought, but I do think Buffalo just trounces them. Tony, it's just like, you play Josh Allen in DFS if you want. I'm sure he's going to be popular. Manny Sanders popped off last week. Are we going to him? What are you doing there?
Yeah, I'm not playing DFS this game. I mean, if I did, it would for sure be a double stack. Allen, for sure Diggs, and then, either Sanders or Beasley or whoever with it. Double stack, and then I'd come back with Cooks for sure if you think Houston could score. But I'm not going to do it DFS-wise. I'm going to be with ODB and Dunkel, take Buffalo over Houston. I don't know. I think they probably kill them. ODB's right. Buffalo pounds people. And they keep scoring too, which I like. They keep trying to move the ball a little bit till real late. So give me Buffalo. Nothing DFS. I can't see myself. I never play the big spreads DFS. I know a lot of people do because they look at implied totals and they like the floors and stuff. I just very rarely play big spreads because I want that fourth quarter upside of it shooting out a little bit in the fourth. And I just don't think Houston can keep the pace with them.
Yeah, I agree. And we'll move on from this game. Before we do that, I just want to remind people, if you're not a premium subscriber and you want to be, we still got a promo code going, RPS Heater 25. Get you 25% off your first monthly payment to RPS. So if you want to check that out, RPS Heater 25 is the code. Get you 25% off. We got a ton of stuff over there. We got core plays. We got playbooks. A full Discord where we got people, not just coordinators, but just other subs, really good information, talking up sports all day. I mean, it's just a great community. So if you want to try it out, you want to get in, check us out. Tony, did I miss anything that we're selling or offering?
I mean, just that damn free roll that we give that free roll. We're putting in $1,500 a week and it never fills. And I don't get it. We have a couple thousand people on the site. It only holds 1,000 in the free roll and we don't fill it. We got like 800 last week. I don't understand why it doesn't fill. So obviously people don't know. It's $1,500 and free dollars. Like if you win first place, you get 500 cash and a 333 seat on DraftKings for nothing. You just get in it. It's just the RunPure tournament, totally free, $1,500. I mean, I don't care how much money you have. You could be friggin' the richest dude out. It's a free roll. Get in there and it's bragging rights for RunPure that you shipped it for the week. We put it in the newsletter, everything. Get in that thing. We don't have the link yet. Usually I get it on Thursdays after the Thursday contests get going, but it'll be on the playbook. It'll be in the Discord. Get in that damn free roll. It's free money. There's no reason to not get in a free roll ever.
Yeah, like literally, you don't like free money. There's no way that anyone watching this show or anybody doesn't.
Anybody,
like
period.
Money.
You could be as rich as my man ODB, and you still should be in the free roll.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Playing Jonathan Taylor.
Playing Jonathan Taylor in that free roll. I mean, that's the way you do it.
Yeah, so check it out. Make sure you get in that TOC. Tony will drop the link. It'll be in the playbook link for sure. And like I said, if you have any questions, just DM Tony. Just DM Tony. He'll answer.
Yeah, appreciate that.
He'll get all your questions answered. Yeah. I promise you. All right, let's move on. Oh, don't forget, hit the like button and hit that subscribe button, that little red button at the bottom right-hand corner of the video. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. That'll get you notified every time we go on for live shows. So if you like these live shows, this one's a free show. We do plenty of free shows throughout the day for other sports too. So make sure to check us out. Hit that subscribe button. Let's move on though, boys. Let's talk about the Carolina Panthers and the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are favorites here, -4. 50.5 is the total. Dunkel, I'm coming to you first. Anything in this game?
Yeah. Well, I'll call it a strong lean on the under at 50.5. This has more to do with Carolina is a really good defense. I know they haven't had too many opportunities to really prove it against like top flight offenses, if you will. But I have some question marks about how this team will move the ball with consistency offensively with no McCaffrey, right? So they will become a little more one-dimensional. Not to say that Hubbard can't be great. He might be, but he's definitely not going to be McCaffrey-esque, if you will. And then on the Dallas end, this is a tough defense for them to walk into. 50.5 is a total that implies both teams are more or less going to be able to go up and down the field and score. I'm not in love with that. I have question marks on Carolina's offense coming into this game, and I have question marks on what Dallas is going to do against a defense like Carolina's in this spot. So all things considered, I just think it's a big number, and I get why it's this big. Dallas has just been a point slot reel, no matter who they play under McCarthy, especially with Dak. But yeah, this number just feels super big. So overall, a strong lean under. If this climbs to 51, 52, which I think it could, especially as we get closer to Sunday, it's definitely going to be a 5 for me under. I don't want to bet it now because I can't imagine this line's going to go the other way. But this was likely going to be a bet for me for Sunday under in this game.
Yeah, ODB, what do you got in this game?
I like this game. I like this game a lot. I think I like Dallas. I like Dallas a lot in this game. I normally don't like the team coming off the Monday night game, but that really wasn't much of a game. I think Dallas is still being undervalued in the market. I had them against Philly. I think Dallas really is one of the, should I say, premier teams in the NFC. I mean, I think they can compete with anybody. I really think the loss to J.C. Horn for the Panthers, the cornerback, is like, this is not the time you want to be losing a starting cornerback when you're going up against this passing attack for Dallas. I mean, Chuba, I have Chuba in a couple fantasy leagues that I drafted in case C-Mac went down, and I'm excited to play him this week, but he didn't really look that great in the spots. I mean, they gave him plenty of opportunities on Thursday. I mean, obviously he's got, a full week of practice where he's the man now, but I mean, they're letting Royce Freeman get carries. I'm not really sure how effective Darnold's going to be without the threat of C-Mac in there. And I don't really think Carolina is going to be able to stop Dallas. So it's a short number with a premium team at home. I think the market has kind of overcorrected Carolina a little bit and still has not corrected Dallas enough. So I think this line should be north of a touchdown or right at a touchdown. I think you're getting a couple points in value, which you rarely see with a public team like Dallas. And I don't think we're going to have that for too much longer. So give me Dallas. And I don't really have a take on the total, but I would be happy to play a lot of I would be happy to play Dak and either one of his, receivers. So that's my take on the game. What you got, Tony?
Yeah. Tony?
Yeah, I mean, Carolina's been my team through 3 weeks, but one of the reasons I love doing this show with these three guys, they're all super sharp and we have different opinions with stuff. I like listening to what they say about the games as we go. And sometimes that's why I like doing this show to start my week, because then I can kind of build off it as we go into the weekend. But ODB brings up great points. Horn's out, McCaffrey's out. That's their best player on both sides of the ball. I like Carolina, but I think Dallas is a little underrated too. I even sent tweets before the season watching Hard Knocks. I thought Dallas would be bad. I thought Dak would be injured. Like, he just looked injured on Hard Knocks to me. But he's looked good, and the offense looks good, and these weapons are good. I mean, they got 2 tight ends that are good on top of the receivers that are awesome. On top of, I'm not sold on Zeke, but I think Pollard is really good. But that's 2 backs that you can use. I mean, they just are loaded with weapons. So I agree with ODB. I'm going against my Carolina team. I think Chuba looked bad too last week. I like the price. I like the matchup. Okay. I'm not even saying I'm going to fade him because I probably won't. I'll play a little Chuba. I don't mind playing him in some Dallas teams. He's still pretty cheap. 5,900, 63 on FanDuel. He just didn't look great to me last week. I was all in on Carolina last week. It was the Thursday game. I had him in all my teasers. We got lucky to win that game. I mean, they weren't that great. They just played Houston, who freaking sucked. So it helped, but they could have easily. They didn't look great to me. I mean, DJ Moore looked incredible. The thing about DFS this week, though, is these prices are absurd. I mean, CD 67, Coops 6K. I mean, even Pollard at 57, Zeke at 65, Dak is freaking, what is he, 67? These prices are all way too cheap. It's just stupid. They're going to be very chalky because of it. But I think they're going to score. I love Carolina's D. I was high on them. Horn's a big loss, though, like ODB said. Dallas is going to score points. I like Dallas. I could see the under even hitting still, though, like Dunkel said. So I kind of agree with both of them. I'm down on Carolina, up on Dallas. And the good part about stacking Dallas, though, is DJ Moore is a really, really good run back because he's going to get a ton of targets. And he gives you a big floor and a big ceiling coming back against Dallas. So give me Dallas. I like them a lot with ODB. I'll have plenty of fantasy here too because of these prices.
Yeah, one interesting thing, and I do think Horn is a big loss, but one other thing on the other side, Travion Diggs has been balling. That dude's played really well. The interception he had against Keenan Allen, which not many people like, that interception was ridiculous. So good. And then obviously he had the pick 6 last week that we all saw, but like he's been really good playing against pretty much the team's best like receiving option for the most part. So I expect you'll see a lot of him on DJ Moore. Just makes a lot of sense. But DJ Moore is good enough. I mean, he could win the battle. I'm just saying, like, that's going to be a tough matchup. It'll be a fun matchup to watch. I do like Dunkel's bet, though, on the under. I do think this game ends up going under. I do like that side. So I'm
if you like Dallas, you almost have to like under because if Carolina goes out front, you almost have to like over because, I mean, Dallas is going to sling it. Dallas should be easy all year, right? If you like Dallas, you should almost always like the under. If you like the other team, I think you should almost always like the over because Dallas is going to run the ball when they're winning and they're going to throw it when they're losing.
I think when Dallas is an underdog, it'll most often probably make sense to bet the over. But when they're favored like this, I do think under is going to make sense. Because in the spots they're favored, they're likely going to take the air out of the ball with a lead, which isn't something common for them. Or they're playing a good defense who, isn't really going to keep pace with them anyway.
The other thing, too, from a DFS side, I just wanted to hit on, you guys have brought up Chuba a little bit. And last year, we obviously saw the same situation. CMC goes down. He's probably going to be out. Mike Davis slides in. And Mike Davis looked really good for a while in that offense right away. Not saying he was CMC or anything, but they used him pretty much similar to where they were just peppering him with targets. Do we all expect Chuba to just slide right in and them use or try and use him like CMC? Or do we think Freeman
for sure? I think he does. I mean, they did it last week. He played like 70% of the snap. I mean, if they get down, Chuba could catch 10 balls. I mean, they're going to throw him a ton of dump offs.
Yeah, I don't hate Chuba. I'm just saying I don't think he's.
I thought you said it perfect.
Not CMC. He's not CMC.
He looked bad last week, but you still have volume. Like I agree. I think you said it perfect. Like we don't love him, but he can still get 20 fantasy points. Just from, I mean, look at Najee last week. Najee was not good in that game. He got 30 points though because he caught 14 dump offs. That could be Chuba this week.
By the way, there was a stat, or I saw someone tweeted it or something like that, where Najee's gotten hit on almost like 70, almost 70% of his carries has gotten hit in the backfield. Like, I mean, it's tough to run when you're just getting constantly hit in the backfield.
They have no line whatsoever.
Their line is awful. It's just, really bad. Let's move on, though. Plenty on that game. Let's talk about the New York Giants and the New Orleans Saints. Saints -7.5 favored. 42 is the total. Another low total game. ODB coming to you here. Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the resident New York Giants backer of the group. Gave you a bet. I mean, I lost one game last week. I mean, I crushed it, but the one game I lost was the Giants. And I don't even think we should have lost this game. And we had an interception dropped in the end zone. We got two of our three starting receivers out basically most of the game. Galladay wasn't healthy. I mean, that was kind of a bullshit loss, but whatever. We don't make excuses. Winners win. Giants don't. Giants find ways to lose. Bad teams find ways to lose. I'm going to go back to them this week. I think they can keep this game close. The Saints aren't that powerful. They keep their games low scoring. I think Saints are 3 games played, 3 games under. I don't really like a touchdown and a low total. I mean, this is the Giants have to let it all out here again. We got another 0-3 team that, has a young coach, young quarterback, aspirations to, I mean, it's different when you're talking about the Jets and the Jags. Like, those are rebuilding teams. The Giants are rebuilding, but I think they think like they have a little bit more going for them than these other teams do. And I think they missed out on the playoffs last year in the final week. I think they consider themselves not as bad as maybe the football media did. So I think the Giants still have aspirations for more this year. And I think this is a kitchen sink game for them. The Saints had a big win versus, Belichick. I don't know who they play next week, but probably some divisional game. And this might be a game they look past. I like the points. Give me a touchdown. I don't have a ton of conviction just because, I'm not really sure how healthy our receivers are, and Giants find ways to lose. But I like the Giants side better than the Saints side for sure. I don't like anything from a DFS side. I think it's going to be like a 19-13 game. So that's all I got on this.
Yeah, Dunkel. I mean, we've seen 2 sides to the Saints. We've seen the 38-3 from Green Bay. Then they get smacked by Carolina, and then they come back and smack New England in New England too, which, in New England, that's, something. So what are we seeing? What's the Saints team? Is it the team that beat up on Green Bay week 1, or is it the team that got smacked by Carolina? The Giants have a shot?
Yeah. So first of all, the Saints are one of the worst offenses in the NFL. You go by yards per play, 3 teams better than this team or worse than this team. It's the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bears. This team's not moving the football. So they scored points against New England primarily because Mac Jones just went a little wild in the turnover category. But this is back-to-back weeks now where this offense has looked completely anemic. The Giants defense is definitely one I would consider as underrated. So when I look at a Saints total here of 24.5, I think 25.5, I mean, I really like this under for their team total. I do think the Giants can hang here. I do think the Giants can win. The issue is, will Daniel Jones do enough? And that's the problem with them is he seems to always make mistakes. And even when the game's in crunch time, he just never really closes games out. As ODB mentioned, we could talk about the dropped interception too. Daniel Jones still had the opportunity to drive this team down the field for a game-winning field goal and didn't. He got him to midfield and then I think he took a sack or something weird happened. And then they ended up punting and then losing the game, of course. But so I can't, say that, the Giants are likely to win. I do think they keep it close, but I think they keep it close more because of their defense. And the Saints offense, which is kind of crazy under a Sean Payton era, his offense looks rough to watch. So I think the only way Saints get there is with a little help from Daniel Jones, and they might get it. But overall, it's a big number for me with what I've seen from the Saints offense. So, yeah, Saints team total under, I think it's 24.5.
Yeah, I mean, Saints offense is literally Alvin Kamara. Like the 28 touches last week. In the other win, he had 24 touches against Green Bay, and that was in a blowout. Like, they're riding this dude. They need him to put up good games for them to win, I think.
Before you go to Tony, I just want to jump in real quick. You asked the question, what is the Saints team? Is it the Green Bay? Is it the Carolina? Yeah. Is it the Patriots? I think the answer to that question is, yeah, that's the Saints team. This is the team that can rise up and play versus good teams, but also can't be trusted to play mediocre teams. I think this is exactly what we get. And, if you watch this show, we've given you 3 Saints winners. I mean, we like the Saints versus the Packers. We like Carolina versus the Saints. And I said last week, the wrong team was favored in that Saints-Patriots game. And the Saints should have been favored. I think that's just what you're going to get with the Saints team. And this is a team that I'm willing to go both sides to. There's some teams we think are overvalued by the market, where some teams that we think are undervalued by the market. And there's some teams that it's just kind of matchup and spot driven. And I feel like the Saints team is that team. 1 week I'm going to be on them, 1 week I'm going to be off them. And so the pendulum kind of swings the other way this week for me. I just think it's a spot play for me with the Giants. And I think the Saints, like, that's what we're going to look for all year, is just, try to exploit spots on either side, because, the answer to your question is the Saints are exactly what they've been for 3 weeks. They're a team that can rise up, and they're a team that can fall flat.
Yeah, I love that. Makes a lot of sense. Tony, I mean, first off, do you agree with that statement that the Saints are just you're going to get what you get from them week to week, pretty much?
Yeah, it's who was it? Dennis Green. They are who we thought they were. Exactly. That was Dennis Green, right? Yeah, I think it was Dennis Green.
I think so.
Yeah, it was.
But ODB said it perfect. I mean, if I had to say it, it would be exactly what he said. I think we've been right on them all 3 weeks. I like the Giants this week too. If I had to summarize it even more, I would say I like the Saints versus good teams, and I kind of don't like them versus bad teams. I put New England kind of in the other bucket just because of Belichick, and last week just made sense. But in general, I want to play them when they're kind of the underdog type team, and I want to fade them when they're in a favorite, because they're just not – they don't have the skill players to really intimidate me when they're favored by 7. So I like the Giants this week, and I believe it or not, I think there's some plays you can go to DFS-wise. I mean, the Giants – so Shepard, is he going to be out for sure?
I mean, didn't look good when he was sitting on the bench with his foot up. I mean,
let's just assume if he's out, like if he's out and if Slayton's out, you got Colin Johnson, who I was always have thought is talented at 3,200. Ingram is $3K. So you got basically 2 minimum price guys that I would project in double digits, and both talented guys. You got Saquon, who looks last week, he was my highest owned running back. He looked incredible. He's still cheap, 6,700. I think Saquon's good. I like the Giants pieces at these prices. Even Golladay, who's been banged up, has another week to get healthy. He's only 5,500. You're just not paying anything for these pieces where you can take some stabs on cheap guy. I mean, Evan Ingram at 3K, he could easily crush. I mean, Colin Johnson is a talented guy from college. I know he hasn't translated in the NFL. At least I'm going to sound like a total idiot if this isn't the guy from Texas, but I think he is. He is, right? Yeah. So he's a talented dude. I mean, he's 3,200, and there's just not as many weapons here. So I don't mind these pieces. I wouldn't play like multiple of them, but if you play one Giants guy, I think that's more than okay. I think a couple of these guys could put up big games.
Kadarius Toney probably makes sense, but
him too.
Evan Ingram takes a bath in Butterfingers before every.
He fumbled again last week.
He's so friggin' bad. Like he
just can't hold on to the ball. He's still 3K though.
Yeah, I mean, last week's leading in snap counts, Kenny Golladay obviously, because he didn't get injured pretty much, even though they said he was going to be limited. Kadarius Toney at 66%, Colin Johnson 49%, and Board 31%. And then obviously you had Shepard, who went down, and Slayton. So, those are the guys they're going to be riding with if those 2 guys are out.
These are the games that always get me in trouble too, though. I'll say, like, I always end up liking these games too much, and like they're just not going to score. You should almost just set a rule, like, don't give me more than one of these dudes. Don't get trapped into playing more than one, because it feels good because of the prices, but they really don't have. And this is what JSU is the best at. He doesn't get trapped by these cheap guys like I do. Like, yeah, they're good plays, but they're never going to get you 30, which you need to win a big tournament. I probably like them more than I should like them.
The thing with this is the guy who has the biggest ceiling is Saquon.
Saquon looks good.
And he's the one who I'm the most worried about.
What are you worried about, though? He looks good.
Hold on. Even though he looks good. Last week, I told people on the Up the Lock show, I think Dunkel was on, I explained to people that I thought Saquon Barkley was going to be used heavy in the passing game. He had 7 targets, but I think we got a little lucky because he didn't run the ball. I mean, 3.2 yards a carry, was 16 for 51 yards on the ground. He got 7 targets, 6 catches for 43, and he obviously scored the touchdown when they got close in the goal line. But his line they're not good. And against this New Orleans Saints front, I don't think he specifically is going to have success. if from a DFS standpoint, if you're going to play Saquon, I think you need another 7+ targets in the passing game for him to get you there. And you got to get lucky in the goal line where he gets that 1 yard plunge or whatever for a touchdown. Not that he can't do it. I just think it's a rough spot for him. If I was to target anyone, it would, I guess, be picking a cheap receiver, like Tony said, but only one. I wouldn't try and, get too cute and be playing multiple of these guys. Because if you're doing that, you should just play Daniel Jones. And I'm not playing Daniel Jones.
Yeah, we can't play Daniel Jones.
We can't play him. So
we can't do it.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you on Saquon. The problem with Saquon is you have the problem with this game, and the one reason why I don't love the Giants more than I'm saying, where I just I like them, but I'm not in love with them. The Giants have the worst offensive line, one of the worst offensive lines, and the Saints have, I think, the number 1 ranked defensive line, or one of the best defensive line. So your ceiling for Saquon really is not that high. I mean, he's not going for. I mean, he really has to bust a couple to get you 102 TDs. Like it's just very hard for him to happen. I know we're joking about Jonathan Taylor and stuff, but like
I would bet you guys can get some action. I'll take Saquon for sure.
Tony, though, but
he can catch 14 balls. If they're losing, they're going to throw dump offs to him.
Okay, but hold on. We're not doing the whole Najee Harris projecting for 15 fucking targets in the.
I think Saquon will catch close to 10 balls this week.
Well, let's just talk about 3 guys real quick. I know there's more betting, but we do DFS in there some. But let's just talk about 3 guys that are all in very similar situations. All 3 guys that I'm about to mention have terrible offensive lines and terrible quarterbacks. And so we have Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris, and Saquon Barkley. All 3 of them get a majority of the work. They all have terrible quarterbacks. And
only one catches balls, though.
But listen,
2.
What are you talking about, Najee?
Jonathan Taylor doesn't catch balls.
But the difference is you're going up against defensive lines in Miami, which is one of the worst defensive lines. You're going up against the Packers, which have a bad defensive line or mediocre defensive line, and the Saints, which have the number 1 defensive line. So if I'm going to look for a running back in that range, I would rather go with a higher ceiling guy than and I love Barkley.
How does he have a higher ceiling? He does not have a higher ceiling.
I just don't think when you're going up against the number 1 defensive line.
Catch balls, you can't have a higher ceiling.
Well, of course, there's a possibility that he catches balls, but if he catches 7 for 41, that's 11 points, and he's going to get 42.
Jonathan Taylor's not going to catch balls. You're going to need 102 touchdowns. You're going to need 2, though.
Yeah, well,
okay, but Tony, here's the problem is we also like the under in this game. We also think there's not going to be as many points scored.
I mean, I don't disagree with that.
And I'm just telling you, like, I think that you're undervaluing, like, the Saints have played the Patriots last week. The reason why
I'm on the same page with you guys with that stuff. The Saints D is great. I'm just saying I think Saquon is a way better play than Jonathan Taylor. I don't think it's even close.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, one guy can catch 12 balls and one guy's going to catch 1 ball. I'm starting with a 2 touchdown lead.
Okay. I mean,
Taylor is also ass cheeks for those.
Okay. From a matchup standpoint, Taylor has
the best matchup. I agree. I'm on board. Saquon has the worst matchup. I agree with that too. I agree with those.
But Barkley's more talented for sure. That's not even.
I mean, we're closer to what we're each other saying than we're leading on.
Sure.
I mean, we're not totally disagreeing. I'm just saying I would play Saquon over JT. These guys would probably play JT over Saquon.
The route you need, though, is exactly what you said. You need him to get peppered in the passing game. And
we always need what we think, though. We need what we think is going to happen, or else it's not going to hit.
Well, give me one of the 3K receivers and opposed to the $6,900 running back. That if I'm going to need to,
I agree too. I'm not disagreeing with that.
If I need to get 7 catches. Give me one of the guys for 3,000. If he fails, I can still win. If Barkley fails, I can't win.
I agree with that too. I mean, I think we agree on a lot of it.
Yeah.
I'm not even like in love with Saquon either. Is the funny thing. So
For sure.
I just like him more than JT.
So yeah,
that's fair. Okay, all right. Let's move on though. Let's talk about the Lions and the Bears. So the Bears, they're favored here, -3 in Chicago. 42 is the total. There were actually people who played Justin Fields in DFS last week. They must not have known that Justin Fields was going to get, if he's the starter, which I assume he's going to start this week, but who the fuck knows with Nagy as coach. Maybe they start Nick fucking Foles.
God. If they start Foles,
I don't even know. But I will say, people actually played Justin Fields last week. I don't understand what people were thinking playing this guy who clearly was not ready. If you watched any of him when he first came in for that first half, was it week 2? He was not good. He played terrible last week. It was an awful play. Now you get maybe the best matchup from a passing standpoint, maybe, that you can get against this Detroit team. Is anyone here on the Justin Fields train if he starts before I get into the betting side? Anybody? Justin Fields?
I mean, I don't totally hate him.
Dude's complete dust. I mean,
I hated him last week for the record too.
He got sacked 9 times. I mean, 9 times last week. Dude's complete.
I mean, he was playing the vaunted.
He was like
Cleveland
25% owned in some stuff too. Like
it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I'm not going to say there's no way I play him this week though. He is versus Detroit and he's 5,200. So I'm not planning to play him. I don't like him, but I don't want to come on this show and be like, there's no way I play Justin Fields because he is going against Detroit and he's 5,200.
Can you imagine getting sacked 5 times by the same guy?
I mean, he was terrible. There's no doubt about that.
It just felt like he was constantly getting sacked. Like every single time he snapped the ball, he was getting hit and sacked. It felt that way. And the Cleveland Browns defense, I joke around that I do think their team is really good. Their defense isn't that good. Don't look at that game and be like,
these are the damn games I got to stay away from too. I get in trouble with stuff like this. Like it's a 40 total. Just give me, no, I can't play Fields. I need to not play him.
All I will say though is if you were the sucker that played Fields last week,
you better play him this week.
You better play him this week. You have no excuse. Do not play him if he's the starter.
Yeah.
This is the A+ matchup you're gonna get if you are a Fields person. Now, if you didn't play them, then you don't have to, but this would be the best matchup. All right, from a betting standpoint, ODB, 3-point favorites here. Maybe it's Justin Fields. Maybe it's Nick Foles. Who the hell knows? I don't know.
I don't know. If you watched our show, you didn't play Justin Fields because all 4 of us shit on him last week. So, I mean, Nagy's job's in the balance, and he didn't want to start Justin Fields this early. I mean, Justin Fields is ass cheeks, as Dunkel would say. I mean, he's not ready. I don't really like this game. I don't even want to talk about it. I hope that we spend less than 3 more minutes on it. If I had to take a side, I would take the Bears only because it's more of a buy low, sell high thing. I think the public's probably a little higher on the Lions than they should be, and I don't know, maybe a little lower on the Bears. I feel like if the Lions get blown out versus the Ravens, that get lines probably 5. So that would be the only reason. But to me, let's just move on to a game that has that. I mean, I have 5 TVs in my room, and that one won't be on any of them. So
yeah, it sucks. Dunkel, if Andy Dalton was the starter, I would be on Bears receivers because I do think he actually would give them a chance to catch a football. But what do you got?
So I don't understand how Matt Nagy is even still employed. This dude's like the worst coach in the NFL. It doesn't matter who his quarterback is, who his receivers are, who's on his defense. It doesn't matter. There's just no success for anybody on this team. There hasn't been success. You want to talk about a long leash? I mean, this dude's had a really long leash on this team. With all things considered for this game, I guess slightly in Detroit. I don't love it though, because from a talent perspective, the Chicago team's better. I do like what I've seen from the coaching staff from Detroit though early on in the year. I know they haven't been like great by any means, but definitely been a tough team, resilient, if you will, with a few of their games thus far. But yeah, look, if anything, Justin Fields as a favorite is quite egregious. So yeah, call it a slightly in Detroit, but no, this won't be a game I bet or watch for that matter. But yeah, look, I want Justin Fields to be successful, but man, he has been rough to watch over his few starts thus far.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Lions win. I think they win outright. I think Matt Nagy is just he's how is he not like how is like you said, how is he employed? I have no idea. If I was going to play anyone, it would be like DeAndre Swift, who just looks so good. And there was talk that he might play even more going forward. So he'd be the only guy I would consider. Uncle T, who the hell set my F-bomb line at 2.5? Uncle T said, I just cashed the over on 2.5 bombs from JSU.
More like 22.5.
Yeah, I was actually this is actually a true story too. I'm on a run with my girlfriend and she was telling me how.
On a run?
Yeah, I swear to
like out on foot? Like you guys were running next to each other?
Holding hands.
She said
like were you holding hands or how was it going down?
No, I don't hold hands. She hates it too. She said that I said the F-bomb too much. She said you got to clean that up. She said you
Uncle T talks about it every day. Like he gets very offended by your F-bombs.
Really? Now I feel bad.
You drop them in front of my kids too. Like we'll be on the phone. They'll just be F-bomb after F-bomb in front of the kids.
Yeah, but I don't know they're around.
It's part of the JSU. They need to learn. That's how JSU is.
No, the kids, I do feel bad for the kids. I don't mean to drop.
I don't mind the cussing. I don't, it doesn't.
I can't help myself. I apologize to anyone who's offended by my F-bomb dropping, but I'm definitely going to drop like 5 more before this show's over. So I can't. Can't do it. Dunkel, what would you set that line at if you were being generous? 2.5, no way.
F bombs for one show for these shows? Yeah, probably 4.5. 4.5.
No, stop, Dunkel. He drops 5 of them in one sentence.
Well, as long as we don't bring up Urban Meyer or Nick Saban, yeah, it's probably going to keep.
Oh fuck! All right.
Yeah.
Get me off this fucking show. I can't do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Let's move on. I can't do Urban Meyer today. All right, let's talk about a team that really gets me going here. Cleveland Browns and the Minnesota Vikings. We got to get back on track. Browns favorites here, -2, 51.5 is the total. All right, ODB, come on. Do we got some love for my Browns here or the Vikings? I mean, they've looked good too, so.
I mean, I really like the Vikings as a team. I mean, I was on them versus Seattle. I've been on them most of the year. I do like this team. I don't really like this matchup at all. Cleveland's physical. They're a physical team, and Minnesota's a little soft on the lines. They're just a little soft in general. I love Jefferson last week. Like that, I played Jefferson. Like nobody played Jefferson last week. He was such a good play. I mean, obviously I'm on early in the week. I really should have thought about this and mentioned it, but just like when you have a running back that goes down, like people pivot to the running back, but like that just means that the most of the time they don't really spend for that receiver. Like that was a really good play. And I'm just pretty happy with my thought process there to get Jefferson in the lineup. I like this Minnesota team. I don't really like this matchup. So I think this is kind of a stay away for me. Minnesota's got a pretty good home field advantage. I do like their team. I do like their coaching staff. I do like where they're headed, but I also think this Browns team's pretty good too. It's just kind of a stay away for me. That's pretty much it. You feel free to play parts for DFS. This game probably has scoring. Got very unlucky last week with the over in the Minnesota game. They scored like 38 in the first half, and then somehow the air just came out the ball. So that's it. That's what I got. I'll just defer to you guys. If any of y'all have strong opinions on this game, I'd love to hear it because I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this game. Dunkel, what do you like here? Because I think the over is a strong bet, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was going to say, so for me, a strong lean at 51.5. If this did dip under 51, not that 51's a key number, but it's one of those kind of key total numbers, along with like 44, 46 specifically. But either way, slightly an over here. It's tough to imagine this doesn't shoot out. Now, you might not get to this number, but it's not like, this game's going to be 17-13. Cleveland's going to do what they do, which is run the ball effectively. Minnesota is just, I'd argue, one of the better two-dimensional offenses in the NFL, especially when they have Dalvin. Madison, they looked pretty good even with Madison back there last week. And look, Cleveland's defense is good, but man, I mean, Justin Fields let this defense look a lot better than it actually is. But Minnesota should test them. My issue with Minnesota is it's like these games, once you start to get a little confidence in them, they play a really good game against Seattle. They consistently don't put multiple good games together in a row. At wins anyway. So from a winning perspective, yeah, I prefer Cleveland, but to me, both these teams are going to score. Minnesota's defense is not very good. I feel like they got a little bailed out against Russell Wilson in last week's game. Cleveland will likely make them pay a little bit. I know Cleveland's a bit banged up as well, though, but either way, it's hard to imagine this doesn't shoot. So, yeah, strong lean over the 51.5.
Yeah, Tony, if you watch the Up the Lock show, I was kind of saying what ODB was talking about with Dunkel and Holden, where we were talking about Minnesota, and we were just pretty much outlining, like, even though Madison is the easiest play on the board, the wide receivers are in really good spots too, because you take out multiple end zone weapons, red zone weapons, and you just get left with such a concentrated group of players on Minnesota. And they were already concentrated too. Even when Dalvin was in there, you knew it was Dalvin and the receiving core. And now with Madison, it's like, okay, Madison just slides into Dalvin's role and you still get the two stud receivers. It just seems like no matter what, this offense is going to be really good because they're easy to target. You know exactly who to play.
Yeah, I agree. Minnesota might be one of the easiest teams to pinpoint in football. Whoever the running back is, whether it's Dalvin or Madison, it doesn't really even matter to me. I mean, Madison's cheaper, maybe slightly worse, but equal in that aspect. I sent that tweet out today, too, with the secondary stacks. I think this is the best possible game for a secondary stack because I'm not going to use the quarterbacks. I can't imagine using either quarterback for that matter, just because the running backs have upside. I just don't really see a reason to use two whiteys that need to get there through the passing game. That I just don't see it. But my favorite play of the week is in this game, and his name is OBJ, 5,800. He looked good last week. He, 9 targets? He only caught 5 for 77. It was like a windy game, though, in Cleveland. Now he's in Minnesota on the fast surface. He's going to crush this week. Definitely. I mean, probably I like it too because I'm not on Chubb. I'm not really on Hunt. I'm happy just to lock OBJ in, honestly. Just play him. Play either Jefferson or Thielen or Madison or Cook, one of those guys. There's my secondary stack right there. I don't need the quarterbacks. I love it. Like, I think there will be scoring in this game, but I think it could be spread around a little bit. Give me OBJ and give me one, preferably not a running back either Jefferson or Thielen. I think Cleveland can slow the running game a little bit for Minnesota. So, yeah, give me OBJ, though, for maybe my favorite play of the week.
I love it. I love OBJ this week. He's one of my favorite receivers on the board. I think he absolutely crushes, too, like you said. They haven't had a receiver score a touchdown yet this year, I think, right?
I don't know who would have. I know our boy caught a bomb last week, though. What's our boy, ODB, Mr. Schwartz?
Anthony Schwartz. I tell you, that's why I love doing this show. Is like OBJ wasn't really on my radar. I mean, he might have got there. I mean, we're only on Wednesday, but that's why I like watching this. That's why I like talking with you guys. Like that. That's great. I mean, I told you I like Cleveland. I thought it was a high-scoring game. And where else are they going to go? I love it. I love your call, Big T, and I'm right there with you.
5,800 too. Like, what if he'd been healthy all year? Like, he'd be like 8K or 7,800 here.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be like probably in the 7K range.
Definitely in the 7Ks for sure. Yeah.
I mean,
just in the dome versus in Cleveland makes that's just a world of difference. Yeah. I mean, that's just a fast surface. Yeah, I love it. Good call.
On top of it, he's going to get matched up against, because they're not really traveling corners right now. It's just Breeland and Peterson, and they pretty much stay on the side. So he's going to play against Breeland for probably half this game. And Breeland has been one of the worst corners. He's given up a touchdown every game. DK Metcalf, that he was the guy they targeted with DK the first series where they were just peppering to get like,
yeah, I'm locking him. You guys are getting me excited. It's going to be my first lock button of the year. He's getting locked in.
Yeah, he's going to crush. I will say, though, I do think the hardest part with this Cleveland offense on the ground is it's tough to pick between Chubb and
so
Hunt.
annoying, man. It's so annoying.
I do think that one of them can crush with OBJ. And if you were like playing 150, I would not hate split exposure, locking OBJ and then split exposure to these running backs and just being like, okay, one of them is going to crush. I don't know which one, but if you're playing a ton of teams, you could split and just hope this game goes absolutely crazy, which I think it has the potential to. So, yeah, I mean, if they get down, Kareem Hunt is probably better because they'll use him in the passing game more. If they get up, Chubb's probably going to be the better play, because that's when they use Chubb more. So it's just depending on what happens to start the game. But I agree with Tony. OBJ is definitely the first guy I want. And then Jefferson, Thielen, I mean, both those guys are in good spots again. They could both crush or one could just dominate. So I like both. Not much else in this game, though, outside of that. Any quarterback love, Tony, like Kirk Cousins?
No, I said I already gave my speech about the two whiteys. I'm not playing the two whiteys in this spot. You need to get it moving anyways. We got a 2-hour deadline. Keep this thing moving.
All right. Stop yelling at me, okay? Jeez. I mean, God, this is what I get, guys. I literally get yelled at. He'll call me on the phone sometimes randomly just to yell at me. Like the shows aren't enough.
He's telling a story.
Shows aren't enough. All right. Washington football team, Atlanta Falcons. Washington football team -1. They're favored. 47 is the total. All right. Dunkel. Tell me why I shouldn't just hammer Washington football team here. I can't bet again. I can't bet Atlanta.
So Atlanta kind of broke our hearts last week, right? I mean, that was the type of game we needed a severe shrapnel for, with the Giants kind of losing it late. It's tough to like Atlanta in this spot. I know it's a small number, but look, Taylor Heineke did not look good at all. I know we only threw 2 picks, but I felt like every time I watched that game, he was throwing an interception. So I don't know if multiple penalties were pulling things back. But look, the Falcons, Matt Ryan's got, nearing the end, if you will. He's at least on this side of the mountain. He's one of the few quarterbacks in the league that, he calls hike and it almost feels like his cleats are bolted to the turf. The dude doesn't move anywhere. And Washington's got a good pass rush, but they haven't lived up to that promise, or that preseason promise at least. Josh Allen had all the time in the world to get rid of the ball last week. Which will help Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's proven that when he has time to throw, he's a good quarterback still. So that's what's kind of pushing me away from this game. The total is interestingly high. I wouldn't have pictured this total to be this high. I would have pictured this to be like a 45.5, 46-ish total, 48. So call it a solid lean in the under. But with how both quarterbacks can turn the ball over, it makes the totals a little scary. Call it a slight lean in favor of the under, but I don't love anything about this game.
ODB, do you like this game at all?
I do like this game. I like this game. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. I disagree with Dunkel on this. I don't like what I've seen out of this Atlanta defense. Any game. I think that I'm just going to throw out the fact that the Giants lost all their receivers and had some bad luck. That's the only reason that game really didn't get there for us. I'm looking to target Atlanta secondary as much as I can. Give me all the McLaurin in the dome. And I like Washington a lot. I don't like what I'm seeing from Atlanta in any way, shape, or form. Pitts isn't looking as good as I had hoped. Ridley doesn't look as good as I had hoped. And let's look at who Washington played. He played Herbert. They played Daniel Jones, and they played Josh Allen. These are quarterbacks who can get outside the pocket when there's pressure and run versus them. That's not going to happen with Matt Ryan. So I think that this D-line can do some business. And the back door is always open with Atlanta. So they're the type of team that just throws out the running game when they get down and they throw it a lot. So that creates either turnovers or, they may get some long plays or whatever. But I like Washington. I lean towards the over and give me all the McLaurin I can get.
Yeah, I love the call too honestly, you were kind of talking about the Washington defense with your call with Matt Ryan, who isn't going to move out of the pocket. It's probably going to help their pass rush, not have to deal with, running quarterbacks, getting outside, dealing with them. So I like that call. Tony, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm with the Washington D call. I like the Gibson and Washington D call, actually, because Atlanta's broke my freaking heart. I just, man, they just haven't done it. I've tried to play Pitts every week. I've tried to play Ridley. Matt Ryan is like Big Ben. They're just at the end of their time. They just can't move. They're statues back there, and they just take sacks that other guys don't take sacks. I don't know. I can't, man. It does worry me. I need to play a little Pitts because it's going to piss me off when he finally has a big game and I don't key on. It's going to come at some point. The dude is a freak. I hope it's not this week because I don't like him this week. I think Washington's D rises up this week. I really love the Antonio Gibson Washington D combo that I think is going to be really low owned. No one likes to pay up for D, and they're 3,500. Same thing we said about OBJ on the turf. I think that helps Washington's D a bunch. And I think they have a big game. I liked what ODB said about that. They've faced mobile quarterbacks. Now they get the statue on the turf on top of it. I think it's Antonio Gibson and Washington D. I'm not playing anyone. I could play McLaurin for sure. I shouldn't say no one. But I'd rather play Gibson and Washington's D. If I played McLaurin, I'd probably play Pitts with it just because I want the game to shoot out a little bit. But for me, give me Washington and give me Gibson in the D.
Hey,
I do think playing.
Sorry to cut you off this year. It does look like all of us are kind of correlated in one way or another. Because my fears with why I like the under is I don't know how well Atlanta's going to score here. Maybe Washington.
I like that.
Washington's team total. Over. We get what we want out of it. 24.5. Seems like
I like that. I like the over for Washington's team total. I do like that because they could get there. If the whole game goes over, they get there. And even if Atlanta sucks, they could get there. I like that call.
Yeah, I think for sure you want to have an investment in someone like either Antonio Gibson or Terry McLaurin. No matter which way you think this game goes, if it's just Washington controls it, then you want Gibson in the D. If you think that there's points from Atlanta, though, you got to like Terry McLaurin because he is going to eat up and chew out every single cornerback they put against him.
The problem is he doesn't have anyone throwing him the ball, though, too.
That is the problem, but he didn't have anyone throwing the ball against the Giants, and he still chewed up Bradbury and spit him out, and everyone was worried about that matchup, and he ate him up. So
he's a beast. He's a beast. Yeah. He's definitely a beast. There's no doubt about it.
For sure. Well, all right, that's it. Let's go. We got to get these games in. Arizona Cardinals, LA Rams. Rams -4. 55 is the total. So this might be actually the highest total on the board. I missed this. So, all right, we got the highest total on the board for the main slate. ODB, what do we got in this game?
I don't know. I'm kind of leaning Rams. I know that they're coming off a high. This is, Cardinals are going to be focused for this game, but I just think the Rams might be better. It's hard to really overlook a 3-0 team. You're 3-0. I know it's easy to say we just beat the Super Bowl champs and Tom Brady and, we got the 1 seed, just the Cardinals, but I don't know. This isn't the type of team that I really like the Cardinals against. Big D line, good D line. Get pressure on Kyler. Obviously, you can get outside the pocket, but you got Jalen Ramsey. I like them. I like Arizona when there's not more of a shutdown corner. I think he can handle Nuke a little bit. I just think they're better coached. I think the Rams are just better everywhere. This line started up high, but I'm going to guess the sharp money came in on Arizona because I think it started at like 6 or something, and what's it down to like 4 maybe? Yeah, it's like 4.5 right now, and I think it started up close to 6. So I'm guessing the sharp money came in on Arizona. I don't really know. I haven't looked at that yet, but I kind of like the Rams. I think the Rams are in a pretty good spot. And obviously, from a DFS standpoint, feel free to pick whoever you want. I mean, all these guys can do it. So that's my thoughts on the game.
Uncle, what do you got for this game?
Yeah, I mean, Kingsbury's off to another good start to the season with his teams. What I liked most about the Arizona game versus Jacksonville was it was a spot where you're like, okay, Arizona could get caught with their pants down here in a West Coast game at 1:00, overconfident. And they did, and they looked Jacksonville right in the eyes and scored 3 touchdowns to not only win the game, but cover easily. I did like that out of them, to be honest. And as it goes to their confidence coming into this game, but man, the Rams just look like a whole different machine with Stafford running the show there. So yeah, it's tough to step in front of this. This will probably be one of the best games to watch of the entire weekend of football, including Sunday night, Monday night games. But so I'm not going to have a play for this game that I like or want to bet. Just to me, there's a lot of variances. This should be a fun game to watch, and I'm not going to have money on it.
Yeah, Tony, what do we got here? Highest total on the board. I mean, it's going to get some love from DFS probably, right?
Yeah, same thing I said last week. I was kind of off the Rams Bucks game. It worked out for the most part, besides Cooper Kupp, who was underpriced like always. Finally, they priced him up this week a little bit to 7,800, which makes it easy because I just keep fading him and he keeps crushing me, and he's amazing. I'm making my first futures prediction though. I'm picking the Rams to win the Super Bowl. They just look incredible to me. They got everything you want on D. They got everything you want on O. If they stay healthy, I just think they're the best team. I'm going to take them to win. They're 7-1 right now on DK. I think they're the best team. So 7-1 feels like a gift to me if they stay healthy. I'll take my chances. That's my first future I'm giving out on the show. But as far as DFS, amazingly, I don't think I'm on anything. I don't like the price on Kupp. I don't like the price on Hopkins going against the tough matchup with Ramsey. I look at the rest of the names, and Robert Woods just hasn't done it for me this year. Maybe he finally sees a little bit of a boost this week just because the price. Cooper Kupp's finally up in price as well. I put it this way. I don't see a single guy in this game that I think I need to have, even though the total's so high. Yeah, you can play Kyler anytime on the ground, but I like the Rams D, so I don't really want to. I don't need to play Stafford in this spot. I'm off this game. I'm going to fade this big total.
Yeah, this isn't the game that I love. I will say, though, Darrell Henderson's price is nice. If
he might not even play, though, right?
Oh, they said that he was practicing.
Oh, he's practicing?
They're saying that they hope he plays or they think he can play, but they'll see.
I like that if he plays, though.
5,600 though, but I mean, obviously we want the Darrell Henderson that's playing the majority of snaps and everything. Who knows with the injury, but I will just say the price tag it seems nice if he's back to what he was getting before he got injured. So outside of that though, I'm with you though, Tony. I've been fading friggin' Kupp and he's crushed me every single week.
We have to keep fading now that his price is up.
At 7,800, now I got to keep fading. I'm just committed now. We're pot committed, Tony. We can't move.
He looks really good though. I mean, as far as just take the price out, take DFS out. If you're just a football fan, like Stafford and Kupp is just awesome. Like it's just they're really, really good.
I will say someone sent me a question, a DM yesterday, and was like Matthew Stafford or Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray was 12-1 or 18-1 for Stafford for MVP. And I said, honestly, both these guys are. I think they're both kind of solid bets, but Stafford has more value.
No, say Stafford. Just say Stafford.
At 18-1. Well, I bet
Stafford at 18-1. I'm taking my second futures bet. I'm getting my Carson Wentz money back. 18-1 on Stafford. Sign me up.
You put real dollars on.
I sent the screenshot. I tweeted it out. 2K. I burned 2K on it.
You're so stubborn sometimes.
All right, we got to get out of this part.
Move it along.
We got the Seattle Seahawks, San Francisco 49ers. 49ers are favored there. -3, 51.5 is the total. All right, this is in San Fran. ODB, Seattle's just been letting us down. I mean, are you on Seattle at all?
No, these are two teams that I think might be a little overhyped. I'm not loving what I'm seeing out of either team. I think I like the Niners though in this spot just because Seahawks really just. I'm very disappointed in their defense. I mean, I called big time over in that Minnesota game, and so obviously I guess I really didn't like the Seattle defense, but I do not like what I'm seeing out of this team. I do not like the play calling from Carroll. I don't like the coaching matchup versus Shanahan. There's not much I really like from Seattle in this game. So south of a field goal, I'm going to take the home team, and I think San Francisco just a little bit better everywhere, but I'm going to look for spots to fade both of these teams. I think. I don't know. That's right. Kind of my take on that game.
Donko, you got a take on this game?
Yeah, likely at this moment in the week anyway, my favorite bet of the week is going to be over 51.5 in this game. I think this is going to be the highest scoring game of the weekend for a few different reasons. First of all, Seattle's defense is awful. They haven't looked good versus anyone. In San Francisco, there's one thing Shanahan does is he exploits holes in defenses, and you could just watch the tape on this defense. He's going to find multiple gaps and multiple play schemes to get guys in space. And on the other end, I haven't exactly been all that impressed with San Francisco's defense. I do expect Lockett to play. I know he's still limited in practice, but I do expect him to play. No doctor, but it looks like he will. And assuming he does, this should be a good bounce back spot for Seattle, who really was an interesting wrinkle against Minnesota. I know that there's a lot of question marks about the play calling on this team and the well-balancedness of this offense, but good get right spot for their offense as well. I just think there's going to be a ton of points in this game. So yeah, over 51.5.
Dr. Dunkel, I kind of like it. I mean, we could do it. I like it. Yeah. I mean, Tony, Dunkel thinks this is the spot. He must like it from a DFS side too, if he thinks it's just going to go over the 51.5. And, what do you think of this game? Because I do agree that Seattle's been awful.
Yeah, Seattle's D's look bad. I think two of the best plays on the board. I'm happy he said over because I think two of the best plays on the board are George Kittle at 5,900 and Debo at 6,500, where they're just the whole offense. You saw it last week. They were playing freaking juice over Sermon. They don't trust Sermon. They don't trust Ayuk. The only two guys they trust are Kittle and Debo, and they're going to utilize them against this weak defense, and they're both too cheap. Kittle at 5,900 is just too cheap. Clearly the best tight end play on the board for me this week. Debo, I kind of put Debo right behind Beckham in my receiver rankings just because of the price. I don't think he's going to be that high owned either. I mean, he's only 6,500. I kind of think he sneaks through the cracks, and he's got a monster projection, at least for me. I love them, and then it's easy always to run it back with one. This could be another mini stack game where I don't think I really use Russ. Oh, I'm definitely not ever using a San Francisco quarterback, but I don't think I really use Russ either. So maybe this is a mini stack too, where you play Kittle, Debo, and then DK, because we're playing DK all year. We finally got a W last week. Lockett beat us the first couple weeks. DK got us a W last week. We're riding DK all year. We're not flipping back and forth. So give me Kittle, give me Debo, give me DK on the way back, and definitely give me San Francisco in the game, though. I'm not a Seattle fan.
Yeah, I will say I understand why you don't want to play Trey Sermon.
Oh, God.
My God. If Trey Sermon – hold on. If Elijah Mitchell is out again, if Trey Sermon gets just what he got last week at 5K, I will take that. I will take the 60% of snaps and that workload against this Seattle team, because I'm telling you right now, what Kyle Shanahan's going to find on the tape that Dunkel was talking about was what I've been saying from the start of the season, which is you are going to literally be feeding them in the passing game. You're going to be able to run on them. The running backs are the most exploitable part of that Seahawks defense, especially in the passing game, if you want to use them that way, which teams have done to start. Tony,
DB's got to get to dinner. Move this along. You can't talk up freaking Sermon. Come on.
I'm giving you an 8-minute warning.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
That's fine. I got
They were playing juice check. They were playing Big T over Sermon. Come on.
They love use check. I don't know why you're
move it
shocked that
along.
they played.
You've given out Jonathan Taylor and freaking Sermon. Come move it along.
Okay, when Sermon leads this fucking when Sermon leads the slate in rushing yards, you're gonna be really upset.
Move it along.
Yeah, JSU's going with Team Ass Cheeks.
Move it along. Come on. Oh.
I love that you hate my plays though.
Oh, just those two. I like the rest. You're better at receivers anyways. Running back's not your strong suit. Receivers is your.
I had my 4 running backs ranked last week were 4 of the best running backs outside of Najee
Move
Harris.
it
The
along.
only one I missed.
Move it
Get out of here. All right, Steelers, Packers minus 6.5.
Javonte Williams, Tony.
Yeah, he's played Javonte every damn week.
Wait a second. Hold on. First of all, Javonte was good. He didn't give me the 8.
Oh, get out of here. Move it along. We got to get ODB out of here. Come on.
Oh, whatever. All right. You made me lose track. Steelers, Packers, minus 6.5. Packers are favored. 46 is the total. Friggin' Tony, I'm coming to you first.
Yeah.
Here with Dunkel and ODB.
Yeah, because I'm going to speed it along to get ODB out of here. I hate this freaking game, but Najee pissed me off last week, caught million balls. He wasn't even good and was the leading running back of the week. It's Devontae or nothing for me here. I don't like this game either, so move it along.
Uncle D said he's greater than Sermon. Stop it, Uncle
I mean,
T.
oh God, don't start talking about Sermon again.
Good. No one play my course this week. I hope you all fade JSU.
This is the worst part, though, JSU. We always talk about this. I feel bad making fun of you because now you want to play Sermon more, and you're going to lose money because of it. I don't want you to lose money.
Mitchell's out. I'm all in Sermon too. I'm going to lock him and OBJ. It's going to be a great fucking week. ODB, what do we got?
Packers D. I don't know. I mean, the Steelers' offensive line's terrible. Roethlisberger's terrible. I mean, I don't know. If Deontay Johnson's healthy, then I don't know. I don't really know what this team is. The Steelers stink, but they feel a little undervalued. I don't know. Devontae's so freaking good, though. Devontae Adams, how good is that fucking guy?
He's so good. Those back shoulder throws they do are just unstoppable.
It's just so good. I don't really have a strong take on this game. It feels like a lot of points, but I don't hate Trey Sherman.
Oh, no.
Yes, I love it. 2 sharp guys against Tony.
No.
Get on, Dunkel. Come on, Dunkel.
We're trying to get you out of here. You say that?
No.
I'm not playing him, but I mean, I'm not going to hate it at 5K. You're going to have a running back on a team that's going to score 30 points and a versus team that can't stop the run. Even if he gets half the carries, like, it's not the worst thing. Anyway, though.
Yeah, ODB, yes.
The chat was on fire before that, too. The chat, I wish I could pull it up on the screen, but Sermon definitely ass, one dude said. The next dude said, not looking forward to JSU's course this week.
Fade me. I can't wait. Fade my ass. I can't wait.
I'm not playing Sermon, but if I was playing 150 lineups, I'd take a shot that he gets a little.
I'm going to say this, though. I'm not playing Sermon if Mitchell plays. Because if Mitchell plays, they like him more than Sermon. So I'm just making that clear to people.
Dunker, you got anything on this Packer game?
Not really. I mean, lock need Ben Roethlisberger on the road. His home road splits have been terrible over his career. This is not a spot I want to jump on the Pittsburgh bandwagon. I think you could argue for some value, especially with how poor they've looked. But man, it's almost, to me, it's similar to the Jets. Like Pittsburgh's team total under until this team proves they can score points on their own. Their defense isn't what it used to be because they're dealing with injuries as well. So I don't love the Green Bay side, but I think you can target Pittsburgh's team total under. I think it's about, again, another 17.5, 18.5-ish. But other than that, I don't love the spot.
Yeah, I mean, Devontae Adams at 7.9K on DraftKings. I like that price tag. That dude should be 9K, and he's 7. I think this is a monster value in a price tag that you can hammer to start the year, like you could have done it last year.
Just play him every week. Just jam him in there every week.
there was after that first week, he's gotten, he went 7 targets week 1, but then 9 and then 18 last week. This dude is going to get peppered. MVS is hampered with an injury. If MVS is out, that takes away what Aaron Rodgers throwing that deep ball. That means more friggin' Devontae check down, short.
I don't know if this is a hot take too, but I think he's just more. He's like the old school running back that you did because of the safety. He's just going to get you 25 to 30 every week. Just play him in there. Just play him.
Well, JSU's got all this extra money to spend this year.
He's definitely playing him.
With the piles of dust.
All right, fine. I'll give you my third lock of the week. Devontae Adams. Lock him in. I mean, this is just too easy. I finally got Tony on my side, too. All right, last game to talk about. I think it's going to be an easy game for us to get through. Baltimore Ravens, Denver Broncos. Broncos at home. They're favorites here. -1. 45 is the total. Dunkel, I'm coming to you for this last one. What do we like?
Slight lean over, actually, at 45. I know Denver's got a big defense, but they haven't seen at least an offense like this one. Now, granted, Baltimore has their issues. I really liked what I saw from Lamar throwing the football last week. Obviously, Hollywood did him no favors, but I thought he was really dropping it in the bucket. And of course,
oh God, you guys are killing the end of this show. He's sucking off Sermon. Now you're saying Lamar's dropping it in the bucket?
Hold on, timeout. Dropping it in the bucket of Marquise Hollywood Brown.
He was butt naked open.
I know he was.
That's dropping it in the bucket.
I mean, he put it right in the.
Well, he was wide open.
Right in the pouch.
Right in the pouch.
Right in the pouch.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so a slight lean over. I do think that I get why this number is low, but to me, I think it's a bit too low because Denver's offense has been extremely efficient. I granted they don't have a whole lot of weapons, but they've been efficient. I definitely haven't liked what I've seen from Baltimore's defense thus far. So overall, I know the total's low, and I know this won't be a popular play in general, but some value on the over on my end. So slight lean over 45.
Yeah, Baltimore was missing a bunch of defensive line players last week. At least I saw Brandon Williams is going to be back, which is key to their run-stopping game. He's big in the middle. ODB, what do we got here?
Slight lean to Baltimore for me. I'm just going to trust the preseason numbers. I mean, I've liked Denver. I like what I see, but I've also, we've gone up against the Giants, the Jags, and the Jets. I mean, 3 of the bottom 4 teams probably in the NFL. So, yeah, I mean, Teddy Two Gloves has looked fine, but I'm not going to throw out the last 5 years of football that I've watched just because he's managed to look good against, the bottom feeders of the NFL. You got Jim Harbaugh. You got a pretty good Baltimore D. I think this is, but Baltimore they know they got lucky last week. This is, and they're not overlooking this 3-0 team. I think Baltimore is just a little more classy. We got an advantage at coach. We got advantage at quarterback, even though I don't really think Lamar throws the ball in the bucket. I mean, I think Lamar's a glorified running back that occasionally
in the bucket.
But I slightly lean towards Baltimore here. Yeah, that's all I got.
In the bucket.
What do we got?
Feel free to use either one of them.
Is it on me?
Tony, right in the bucket. Here we go.
I know JSU is going to be on my side here too, because I think Denver's way better than people think. And I can't imagine taking Lamar on the road versus Denver. I'm taking Denver. DFS wise, though, it's an easy fade. I don't see any reason to play. I'm finally not going to play Javonte last week. Last week I did good on the afternoon slate because I played Javonte and a few other guys. He scored right away and I had high hopes. Still only finished with 12 for 29. I mean, he scored for me though. I made some money off him. Now I can just get off the ship for a minute and I'm not going to play him finally this week. I like Denver though. I'm not going to play anyone DFS wise. I will definitely play some Denver D and I like Denver. There's no bucket in my analysis. I'll tell you that much.
This is where me and Big T think alike because I am in the same boat with him on this game. I like Denver and Javonte Williams. He got in the box for us. He should have had 2, fucking fumbled. I mean, God, that fumble was tilting. But hey, I'll take the touchdown. He got us more than 8. I told you fuckers he was getting more than 8. He did it. We did it. I'll get back on him next week. I'm off the Javonte train for 1 week. But Denver D is the only thing I got in this game. I will also just say Denver is missing a few wide receivers now. KJ Hamler out, Jerry Jeudy out. They're really thin there. Maybe the tight ends get a slight bump, but all in all, this game's going to be off. So, all right, boys, I think we got through it all. ODB, I know you want to get to your supper. I have to get to my supper as well.
You call it supper?
Yeah, supper. What do you call it?
I mean, not supper, but
It's
is
dinner.
that dinner? I mean, I call it dinner.
He's going to have
All
supper with 12 disciples.
We got to root ODB on. Like how so I was in the poker
right,
world
look.
for a long time. How do we follow along? Like, what's the
All
best site these days?
Either pokernews.com or WSOP.com. Follow me on Twitter, AU David B. AU for Auburn University,
God.
David B for my name. And I'll provide updates, not quite at the beginning of the tournaments, but once we start getting to the part where it matters.
What's it start
I'm
at? Noon in Vegas?
Starts at 3. So
It starts that late?
Yeah. So no need to sweat tomorrow. Tomorrow's day 1. Day 2, the next day. That's when it starts to get real. But I'm out of here. Good luck. Let's
get it done, ODB. Represent this next 2 months.
Let's.
If
ship
you
some
were,
football
what do
again.
you? Are we gonna get any RunPure at the final table when you make one? What do we got? What do we got?
Send me a patch, bro. I can't be wearing a hat with locks like
we don't want to
this.
mess your mojo.
When
We'll
you
get
got
you a
hair
patch.
like this, you can't really be putting. If I had Dunkel's hair, no, that's just some pretty locks there you got, buddy.
I can give you like
Look
hair
at
for my
Dunkel's
ass cheek,
hair.
ODB.
I'm out. But
All right.
I'm just gonna end on this. Jonathan Taylor for all the money.
Oh God!
Buddy.
Don't end on
Later,
that.
ODB.
Out.
ODB's
Somebody
getting out of
boot
here.
ODB, please.
We're also going to get out of here too.
Ugh.
Before we do that, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that red button in the right bottom corner. It'll help you get notified every time we go for these free shows, which we go for all the time, go live. So check us out at RunPure Sports. RPS Heater 25 is the promo code, gets you 25% off your first monthly payment. And for that, we're getting out of here. So for me, JSU, Big T, Uncle Dunkle, and AU ODB, whatever his name is, we are out.